Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I watched a little bit of the YouTube the other night, and I was loud and proud on my speaker, but everybody else is still a little bit light, so we can just remember to speak into the microphone still. We'll start with the DPW job description.
Yeah. Can I just shut that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just before we start, I'd just like to preface how we got here. So last November, when we had the switch up at DPW, we took a hard look at the structure, and we were trying to assess, had we over leveraged an asset, had we spread them too thin, because as we can tell, the positions evolved since 1997, okay? So as we got started on that, we then went into basically a limited number of board members, into budget season, and this was prolonged. As we came out of budget season, we knew that we wanted to catch up on our reviews, which we were supposed to complete in November. At that point, we realized that we had very outdated job descriptions. So to start the conversation, basically cut and pasted from some other surrounding communities, the document that we started with last week, version 2 of that original document, now it's on to version 3, and the same with the DPW director, really just to open the conversation up, to try to hit the key points, and then let the entire board basically add, subtract, improve, refine, whatever. We did make a decision as a board last November to take water and sewer and outsource those two, which were previously part of the non-written DPW director job description.
Somewhere that job description was there, because I had it when I got hired.
Okay, well, I've just been, I don't know, I've never seen it.
I think it was definitely in the ad, but I don't remember. I don't remember seeing
I
it.
searched
I
the
don't see a job
server
description.
and there isn't
Yeah,
anything.
I remember
The
being
only
the
thing I
ad,
could
though.
come up with was the one in 97.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
been 3 DPW directors, well, 4 counting the intern, but there's been 3,
Yep.
and all 3 had those 4 titles. Before that was Lloyd Bailey as road agent.
Right.
Okay, so as you look at that document that was created to open the conversation relative to DPW director / road agent / whatever you want to call it, right? Public Works Director. The reason you see that little on the second page was in preparation for if we went to add, okay? So to just try to make some sense of it. It really was very rough draft document, and I hope that, we really are at ground zero with this position today,
Right.
okay?
Yeah, this was just a very basic, let's put something on paper and start talking about it.
So
Yeah.
Well, I'd kind of put one together, and it really mimics this one, because there's examples, and then there's what we know of this
Right.
position, right? And that's what this was an example of some other stuff put in what I did. And I apologize, I
Where'd
didn't get a
that one come
chance.
from,
I typed these up today and
no.
I don't know, end up in my folder when I was looking today, so I don't know which one you guys handed to me,
Oh. I
because
remember that one.
I didn't draw it up. I had all this stuff in my folder from last week.
Okay. No, I just don't remember.
And if I would've had this, you'd have saw this one of these first paragraphs in mine, because one of them's pretty good, but I apologize for not emailing over earlier, I used my own computer, wasn't hooked up to email, so. It was my rough draft of just knowing some of the position, and it really mimics what you guys had said, and I think there's some stuff to add and subtract from both of them.
Right.
I did approves driveway permit applications. I forgot to put that in mine. I think a couple of these federal laws and rules and regulations, that was on the generic one. I took that out of mine. I think that could be. Now I'm hot. That was cold. And just education, I just, you know,
Sorry about that.
I think mine said bachelor's degree or Rhodes Scholar, so I left that out, obviously.
Now, I know that, again, and Kevin spoke to the fact that we have, since November, we have contracted out the water and the sewer, and I think the real numbers, it wasn't a whole lot more.
Was less.
It was less? All right, so it was less, so we ended up going that route, and
What
again,
are we
it's
paying for that now?
Not much less.
not much, I mean,
By the
it's
time you take
close.
the salary plus the FIC and the Medicare.
Right, yeah, all the position that was encased in it, I don't remember exactly what the number was, it was just
Yeah.
less than $1,000 difference,
Yeah.
I'll say.
It started out as 5, and of course, over the years, you get the increases. I don't remember what
Right.
it was.
Right. So that was out, and that was we needed somebody,
Right, of
obviously.
course.
And,
Yeah,
and-
we didn't have anybody.
and we
We
had
did the
nobody
same, did the
licensed.
same thing in between Carl and Tim, between me and
Yep,
Tim, and we
yep.
outsourced it.
so, you know, obviously the state testing that goes along with that,
Gave a
et
year
cetera.
for somebody to get it.
So, and we did that, so, and there was, I mean, it's a huge responsibility, but, no, probably not over the 365 calendar year, but is it something that we wanna continue to outsource, or is it something, and I think it's a further conversation, obviously, I just wanted to, again, as Kevin says, get the board up to speed of where we're at today, that's all, so. But,
The ones I looked up, when it came to DPW, all that stuff was included as far as oversight.
okay,
And in this town, there's no employees under those two positions for those two departments.
okay,
So it's not like it's overseeing any other people.
right,
For the drinking water, all the testing, the state handles it. The quarterly testing, someone has to come test it under the direction of the water operator. As far as submittals to the state and stuff, the state comes, inspects your well, the state comes and,
right,
you know, the service of the equipment, like the RO system downstairs and the one next door, was done by a company. And the gentleman that's doing it now called me and I told him what I knew
of the
from my
systems, yep,
experience. So I'm assuming he might be doing similar. You know, St. Ange for the sewer, he has us on a biannual.
Mm-hmm.
He calls and says it's time, and we say, okay, so it's
Yeah.
not a huge.
Yeah.
Supposed to take pump
Hey,
readings, so.
Speaking of that, just in, did we put that, I mean, I'm off, never mind, I'm gonna go off. I was just curious about the pumping and how we have an RFP that, have we in a while?
We did, when the first year, and, it was
I
so
remember that.
much cheaper, and it's a 15,000-gallon tank, and no one else could come
and take it all at once,
take
right?
it.
Yeah, just 'cause it's pure
The other two
size,
people had 3,800-gallon tanks, and the gray water running in from the school is gonna catch up before they get to Concord, dump their wastewater.
right,
Yeah, yeah, I think Henniker Septic now has a tanker, but anyway.
They
I
do,
just-
nobody's got 15,000, because you
it's large, yeah.
can't have it, there's no such thing. That can be
No,
done.
not unless you pull a trailer. Even that's not even existent.
They brought 3 trucks and did it.
Yeah.
It could be a RFP'd again, but it has been done. And they get in the tank and get it all, so.
Better them than us.
So, I thought the summary on the other one that I had, there's been a couple things could have been added, I suppose, compared to the one I had. I think you could make a combination of the summaries, and
Is that one page or two?
this is 2. And I don't know where, one of you guys had to have handed it to me.
Draft too.
Okay.
I don't,
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't see it today, or I would've,
I didn't see anything
I
that
would've
wasn't
worked
a,
off it.
No, it's,
so you got something different.
I got something different, yeah. No, that's the one that he's made
That's
today.
one I just gave you.
Right.
This is one ended up in my folder.
Yours doesn't say draft through the middle.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
I don't know that one either.
Want me to
Yeah.
make a copy?
Yeah, if you could, because I don't have that one.
Everybody else with one that says
Seems like they
draft?
do.
Yeah.
Seems like I'm the only one that doesn't. That's all the police stuff. Unless I overlooked it in here.
Unless that's the old one we've been looking for.
No, no, that was one Kevin made up. That's all PD stuff. TA. And I don't put it back here in the pile of stuff. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I thought I had it, but guess I don't.
So they're both similar, there's just gonna
Right.
be a couple things.
Additions, subtractions, or whatever.
Well, are we gonna, I guess is the consensus
Thank you.
that we're going to agree that currently we're not gonna include water and sewer?
Or are we going to include it?
That's the-
Again,
I don't have enough information.
Oh, I'm certainly in favor of it, I mean, I
I
don't know
think
why you
you
wouldn't.
agreed to this year.
Yeah, we agreed to this year. Yeah, I mean, we had to have a
We've already-
stopgap. We
yeah.
had to have a stopgap,
You
obviously.
gotta, yeah, I'm sure whoever you made agreement with, you gotta honor that, and if you get someone who doesn't have a license, you gotta give them time to
Right, right.
obtain it, of course.
I guess honestly, and obviously you would be the voice of experience, how many hours per, and I'll go month, was encapsulated in water and sewer? Because obviously when they're doing the testing, there should be a representative on scene and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, me and Joe usually come over first thing one morning, cause you're supposed to do it before the water's really run by the
Right.
ladies here and the guys. So that was once a quarter.
Okay,
Sometimes you had 3 bottles, sometimes you had a whole cooler full, sometimes it took 10 minutes, sometimes it took an hour, a quarter.
okay.
And
So,
the sewer station should go by once a week and write down the hours. A lot of times I just had one of my guys do it on the way by the patch, and I'd give him the keys, swing in, take the pump reading, write it in the book.
okay.
Then he came back, that's how you catch, like, the pump failure, you know?
So are we saying 25 hours a month?
I don't think, no.
No.
Okay, I just,
Couple.
okay. Well, all right.
Couple. Because any repairs that need to be made are all subbed out. AAA does all, well,
Right.
when I did it, AAA did all that work.
Right.
A couple different companies did all the service work here, so there was no repair, service work at all done by DPW.
Okay.
It was just the carrying of the license and ability to get in and out of the buildings, you know, you gotta be able to get into the daycare and get in here.
Yeah, yeah, to get your,
Somehow or another, when Tim was here, and thankful to him, but somehow we got the state to drop the library off being a public water source as far as the state's concerned, because they have the same system over there as there is here.
oh, I thought they were on their own well over there, because we replaced the
They
pump
are,
over
but
there.
they have, I mean, they have the same, just specify, sorry, they have the same RO system
Oh,
that used to have to be serviced and everything.
Oh,
over there,
okay.
And that used to have to be tested over there.
okay, all right,
It doesn't now.
Okay.
So, I don't know why. They don't ask for it, so I never asked.
that's all right. Yeah.
So, again, just the idea or the concept came about in trying to avoid stretching whoever that individual was based on the size and workload, giving them adequate time to handle just road and transfer, because both of those obviously last year kind of came to a crescendo on a couple fronts, you know what I mean? There were a couple things that just all hit at once. We had, the River Road Bridge failure, all of a sudden, I mean, that would become a full-time job just in itself, just getting that project reorganized once we were basically red flagged or basically dropped to 6-ton. So it's the idea of the board was to make sure that whoever's in charge there has adequate time to plan and stay ahead of and avoid, I guess, situations that kind of put everybody in a spin.
Well, I guess I disagree that anybody's in a spin, and I'm gonna remove myself from it. I know that's where it's targeted, but the two before me, there was no spin. I don't feel
Okay.
there,
Yeah, it
there was with me,
wasn't,
so.
it was not intended, and that's why it wasn't mentioned. It was talked about as a situation, and we thought we had spread that employee too thin. So that was the reason. But if it's a few hours a week, obviously,
Yeah,
It's
A
probably
month.
not an issue.
Probably a few hours a month, maybe.
okay.
And all the final reporting's done by the state, so. Unlike, well, the state, really anything important, really big does, your fuel tanks, the transfer station, you have to put a little more effort in, and the person, managing day to day at the transfer station's a big, part of how smoothly the director's job goes December 31st, keeping track how many bales. They don't know how many bales are left over at the end of the year, how many, and the guy up there keeping record of that made the guy down at the highway and the assistant's job easy, That was the only paper really had to submit. Comes to the landfill, company comes in, sends the information straight to the state and gives the town a copy. We don't test the landfill, we're not certified to do that. So it's the day-to-day activities, really isn't much there isn't any day-to-day activities for sewer and water. There's quarterly for water, and somebody should check numbers once in a while, there's just to make sure that there isn't a pump stuck open at the sewer station, and that's really all those two entail until, I can't even think the last problem DPW fixed at either one of those. I think we straightened the gate at the sewer station and planted a new tree once, I think, 'cause
So, I guess I'll roll back again, to ask the question, obviously there's a lot of outside agency involvement, whether it's state, contractor, vendor, whatever you wanna call them. But with all them coming in, I guess my thought would be that there would be a town representative with them
Yes.
while they're on site.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know how much time that pulls away from, I guess to Kevin's point is how much time that pulls away from other functions. If, again, yes, we may not have hands involved, but we have somebody there representing. So, how much time does that pull away from the actual, I don't know, I'm just asking a question.
Well,
One aspect, I don't know how important it is, strong it is, but if it is a small set of jobs to do, it seems like a good opportunity for, where I'm going with this. Right now, we're faced with, we have a lot of similar experience down there. And it would be great if we had people with experience interfacing with
To broaden it out.
other organizations. Right, and you say, hey, this is a small thing, you be in charge of it, I'm gonna oversee you, pretty closely, but it's only a few hours a month. You do all the paperwork, I'll double check it, get some experience.
it's kinda what I did with the water testing when I could. Me and Joe do it sometimes. I had two other guys come do it, and cause that's the only testing you had to do here. Then you can either drive it to Concord and drop it off, or they will actually come pick it up. But when the state comes in, they inspect the well, and he's kinda there with a shovel to help open the manhole because it's underground out here. But, like the sewer, you got, just make sure the septics get mowed once a year, which we contract out with our lawn mowing guy. But it kinda all entails in with everything else. He'd call and say, I'm gonna do your leach field and your landfill this week. Is that all right? And it came through one office, Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead,
okay.
anytime, If for some reason some little dig up had to be made in the parking lot or something, who are they gonna call?
Oh, they got called
Yesterday.
DPW, yeah. No, I get it. No, it just to me, if there's a lot of, if there's a reasonable amount of time being utilized just in town attendance, I'll say, maybe it would be at least something to put on the thought process of keeping, off to a contractor, just for conversation.
Yep, no, I understand. In my opinion, there's almost none. Transfer station and highway was the two big ones,
Oh, and I think it's still the very big ones, honestly.
When it comes to state
Yeah.
stuff, those fuel tanks down there are
Yeah.
the big ones. which
But
fall
somebody
under
still has to
highway.
monitor it and get the Vita route tape and all that, and there's time involved with that, obviously, so, that's all. I think that was the consensus of the board, in the late fall of last year was.
No, I understand. But,
Yeah.
like when you had to get a truck in the gate back there, I had to.
Somebody had to be
in the
contacted to go
wintertime,
down.
somebody had to be contacted and had to move a snowbank.
Yeah.
So it came through my office, I looked out, that person was available, he run down the back, open front of the gate. Now, if you had a
Yeah,
subcontractor, they call, whoever's
They
in
may call
charge down
Naomi,
there. who
or
can
call
handle it.
Naomi or
Takes
somebody,
More
yeah.
phone calls and.
Yep, no, it's understood, so, all right.
Did I understand right, Naomi, you said that we're contracted through the end of this calendar year?
I recall when he signed it, because we weren't sure what we were doing
It
at
was-
the time, is
Yeah.
that we signed up for 23.
It seems reasonable.
And at
'Cause
the
then-
same time, if you find someone that we can allow time for schooling and things like we did
Yep.
before, then it's nice to have someone. And I believe, yes, that we did, because we weren't unsure.
Yeah, no, that could work.
Yeah.
No, I think that's real reasonable.
They could work with
Very
each
good.
other if they, the appropriate person gets certified and could work with him for the duration, just to see what he was doing.
Right,
I
Kind
think-
of like,
I
kind of a
think
try
that's
run at it,
plus, too.
almost.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got it, excuse me if I remember the name, but the kid that worked for that company lives here in town. I forget the name of the company, but I did the same thing, you know? I said, do you mind?
WSO.
WSO, they
That's who
did
we
it.
contacted first, and
Right,
they wanted no part of
right.
it.
No, I know that, but he, anyway, the kid that worked there and lives here in town, he came down and I did the same thing. You know? Called him up, would you mind going through this first water test with me? So I
Right.
understand
Yeah,
the
yeah.
abbreviations.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's great that we got someone throughout the year. I don't think it's something that we need to hurry it, should try to push out or nothing, but I don't see why it can't be under this person's job scope eventually by next year, That's why I put in there, obtain by 1 year, so I mean, if,
Yeah,
between the process and everything, we don't hire no one for another month or two, it's got a year to get it at minimum, it's not,
Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about making sure that we had a backstop, and I'm not 100% positive because I haven't followed up on it, but I believe the interim director right now is currently working on getting certified.
I
That's
believe,
what I
I believe you're correct.
that's what I understood.
Yeah, so but the idea was just to make sure that we have that backstop, we have that insurance. If someone doesn't show, or we have to fill in, that we have somebody capable. We obviously can't turn to the town administrator. So, yes,
Yeah,
that was,
that-
By law, you guys had to hire someone. 'cause
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can't have an unlicensed
yeah,
operation.
yeah, we got
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, that was, yeah. So, anyway, it all comes back to what are we going to go back to status quo, how it was structured, or are we going to reassess what that workload is? And at one point, we had the conversation, are we going to totally break transfer and road into two departments?
yeah, there was conversation of that.
And because of the overlap, their proximity, it's a very difficult thing to do. So then the discussion was, well, do we, again, sort of have that DPW director doing the general oversight, similar to what Salem was discussing, where he is once a week meeting with the transfer station, here we are, give me an update, where is this? So he can
With the
report
numbers.
back, to town administrator on where we're going, what that person, but a person specifically focused on disposal of our solid, municipal waste.
To have somebody good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that mine?
Yeah.
I think that might be yours.
That's my wife. That's my
Looking
wife.
for her phone.
That's my wife's phone. I have to apologize, guys. I grabbed my wife's phone as I was racing out the door. I thought I DND'd it, but it must not have.
So I,
How's the service here, I don't know.
So I think we can probably all, let's try and run down through the description of draft, the description that Benji made up. I think that the including the water and sewer can be a topic for a bigger discussion. Obviously, it's run that way already. But let's try and get through the job descriptions at hand, and then maybe once we process and finish all of this, then we can weigh in to say, what do we think about we've made the job description now, there's the load, can we add to it? So, maybe that's the best way to go about it. So. Now you, Benji, just how you got to this point was just off the, what you think, or what you thought?
Yeah,
What you
so-
experienced?
What I experienced, and obviously, right, to draw, make headlines, I looked up what samples in other towns did, which is
Okay.
what this one is, because there's one paragraph that's exactly the same as mine, so.
Okay.
So
Alright. Mm-hmm.
this one was, a draft on the internet too. And then I just kind of refined it, how Weare has,
Yep.
because I don't, you could add absolutely anything. I did mark out, for instance, this one says, ability to read, follow federal, state, and local laws, rules, regulations, policies, and procedures, knowledge of federal and state local regulations regarding drainage, wetlands, land development, soils, and construction. I marked that whole thing out because I don't know, you really need to be an expert in the wetlands and soil development. You need to know not to do it, but, so something like, we can leave it, take it, but that one I marked off of mine. Because you gotta get permits when you're doing the bridges and stuff anyway, so it's
Right.
not like you gotta be the expert in that.
Right, but you gotta know not to dig,
Sure.
dig in a wetland, because that's bad.
Of
And that's a law, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's some version of that, I think. we
And that's
definitely-
fine.
Well,
Yeah, it's
again,
wordy, but,
again, the idea here is if we're going to review a person's performance, and yes, that's an assumption we're making that they would know that not to do that.
right,
But we need some place to point the finger to say,
you violated or you
this is what your
detained.
job description says you were
I
supposed to do.
agree with that.
So-
I kind of like it as it was written.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if it was a little wordy.
Well, at least the intent, and really I'm just echoing Kevin at this point.
Right.
For this statement of, it is good to know what the laws are, so you're not breaking them on behalf of the town.
Yeah. So I guess, let me ask, how do we, I mean, it's hard to go bounce back and forth between the two. Do we want to work the first one, the draft copy, and then go down through Benji's and see what lines up and what needs to be added and subtracted? I don't know if that'd be the easiest, I don't know, it just seems like there's a lot of information here, and probably a lot of it's gonna cross, that's all. So, and I don't know, I really don't know how to go about it, that's all, so.
He's
so-
lost his draft, he's gonna go get it.
Oh, okay, all right, so I guess we could go down, I guess we'll go down the draft version first. I think we already took a stab at this once, because I think I remember, talking about the CDLB with
Yep.
no restrictions, so. But that was, again, that was the previous board, we have two new members, two new set of eyes, so, yeah, I see red pen on Salem.
It's not as bad as
Like
Monday.
I say,
Not nearly as
you're gonna
bad.
have to invest in red pen pretty quick.
Yeah. And so I guess how I got to the red ink, I went through, Milford, Greenfield, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 of them.
Yep.
And just kind of did a summary on the back of like, what are we missing high level?
Overall.
And I'm not saying, it's not my opinion that we need to have all of it, just is it anything we overlooked or knew to exclude? So at least with the summary, I think it would be good to say the DPW is made up of a highway department and a transfer station, just from the get-go.
Oh, okay.
That is something that shows up a lot of just like, if you're the director, this is what you're going to oversee. And it kind of says that in the first half, if you know what you're looking for.
Right,
But I think just like
yeah.
right out the gate.
Almost, and change it almost to be, the DPW director will be expected to oversee rather than active participant.
Yeah.
Well, and again, we're not bounced back forward, but that's what I put, department functions include highway, solid waste management, water, sewer, utilities,
Right, yeah,
so, on my summary, so.
yep, right, and I think those two, like I said, there's gonna be overlap,
Yep,
obviously,
no, I agree,
so.
yep.
And I had the same opinion on your draft, Benji, of just like something that says the town, if you say, because we jump straight into town public works department, just say like, what is the public works department? If you're applying for this job and you read the first sentence, you're like, oh, I don't want to do transfer station. You get out.
You're out, right, so,
So how You're gonna look at two, so how are we gonna?
Yeah, I don't, yeah, that's what I'm wondering is if
We're gonna
we,
go through this one first, the draft, is that?
That's what we're going through
that's-
right now.
Yeah, that's what I
Yep.
left the room on. Okay.
yep, yep.
I mean, I don't mind taking, the notes.
Well,
but,
right, I think we should probably chop up and then say, all right, let's jot this down, Naomi, because this is what we got.
Because last time I crossed off and then I had to write.
Right, exactly. You don't have enough paper over there to do with the conversation we're gonna have, I'm
So
sure.
I'll just wait and see what you talk about.
I think you just wait, yeah, and we'll just go kind of bullet to bullet and go from there.
So summary, we edited to will oversee both highway and transfer station activities. Is that correct?
And if we decide we can add the salt, the wastewater, the management.
sewage.
Water and sewage, right,
Yeah, if we decide to.
right.
Right,
Right.
okay.
And again, I'm thinking if we have that discussion after we figure out
Yep,
what
that's
we're
fine.
doing, then we can interject it
Yep.
and add some bullets and stuff like that, that's all.
So we've crossed will be expected to be an active participant. That's what we've eliminated. in
Yeah,
that
will
paragraph.
oversee.
Yes, okay.
Should it be oversee and manage?
That's fair.
I just asking, because that puts that title to it.
And then I would capitalize, or like say, highway department and capital transfer station, so you understand, like,
Yeah.
that's what the
yeah,
departments are.
Exactly,
Yeah, I think that's good.
yeah.
Instead of it being a colon there, should it be the director will step up into an active role in any task necessary to complete a project or activity?
Yeah.
Yeah. And will step into, is that
Yeah,
what you said?
the director will step into an active role.
Right.
Yeah. Do we, I guess let me ask, just, do we have to keep putting DPW director, or should we just put the director? They already know they're applying for a DPW spot. Or can we just put the director?
Sure.
Just a thought. I don't know.
That's fair.
Doesn't, I don't,
And that kind of broadens that kind of broadens it too, and if we ever change the title or the name of it, that'd be a lot easier, because it's still gonna be a director, but could be Public Works or DPW or whatever you wanna call it.
Well, maybe you ought to change the title at the top, because it's DPW Director
And that,
and
yeah,
Transfer Station.
well, or
Or whatever we end up with.
I don't know what the proper term is it DPW or is it Public Works? Or is it,
Whatever.
I don't know.
DPW is Department of Public Works.
Okay, okay.
but Ricky, it's a good point, because if he goes Public Works Director, which is sort of that all-encompassing
Yeah,
position.
you can craft it down the road if you ever wanted to.
We'll
That's
think
all.
about that, but
Yeah.
Okay.
let's,
Should be an apostrophe in the director's, where it used to say it is the DPW director's responsibility.
Yep. Did you have more that you wanted to add to that
Nope,
summary?
not for the summary, no. Very,
Now, what about what Benji wrote in his summary to be included in the draft summary?
Well, I kind of just reworded it.
Okay.
It's same. So the part that I had was, department functions include highway, solid waste management, water and sewer utilities.
Okay.
Which, it's the same,
Yep.
depends what we decide, so water and sewer, but it's kind of reads the same as first sentence, right? Mm-hmm. Mine
Now-
is just further down, that's all.
Should, and I know that, and I agree with this statement you put in yours, I think that maybe it should be in the summary is, appointed by the board and reports directly to the town administrator. Just so they know right out of the gate.
Right, because a lot of towns are
Yeah,
road
there's-
agents are still elected in some towns. So
Right.
that'll
I'm
be a
just thinking
difference.
I'm
I
just
like that
thinking,
one a lot. Though I guess it's kind of wordy. So there was one, it was Greenfield, works with a considerable degree of independence under the broad policy guidance and direction of the Board of Selectmen with day-to-day supervision by the town administrator.
Maybe we take that line and
Yeah.
put it in the summary?
Yeah.
At the last line of the summary?
What's it read again?
It says, works with a considerable degree of independence under the broad policy guidance and direction of the Board of Selectmen with day-to-day supervision by the town administrator.
I guess I like the part putting in so that the person knows that he or she is appointed by the board, because appointed versus elected is a big deal. I would never go to work somewhere I was elected and I'd stand out there with a sign every year for my
Yeah.
salary.
All right, so broad policy guidance appointed by and under the direction of the Board of Selectmen.
Say that again, Ricky.
Works with a considerable degree of independence under the broad policy guidance and, under the broad policy guidance appointed by and under the direction of the Board of Selectmen with day-to-day supervision by town administrator.
I think it's kind of shoehorned in there. It's almost two separate things. It's like once you get in somehow, and once you're in, this is what you do.
So I didn't know the summary be, to the point, and then we list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's back up to the first sentence. The DPW of our draft. The DPW director will oversee and manage in all highway and transfer station activities,
Period.
period. Well, I was gonna say under appointment of the Board of Selectmen. But, like I said, that kind of.
Yeah, you could even just put in the beginning, the DPW director will be appointed by the Board of Selectmen to oversee and manage.
I like that. I do like that. Yep. I think that covers that appointment status.
Yeah, and I don't think, it's almost stressed on highway only. We're down here, we can list it. The only part I like, and again, I got it from other ones, but, responsibilities are, organization, operation, and performance of the departments. Whatever departments we decide to list after,
List after.
then we ain't gotta say the transfer station, highway, sewer, water, not sewer.
Yeah, you don't have to put all that, yeah.
And then he's appointed and answers town administrator, and then after that, we can maybe list below.
But I think to Salem's point.
Yeah.
The broad point is, if somebody's looking at this, they're gonna look at the summary.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at the Reader's Digest.
Absolutely.
And then they're gonna say, well, like you said, hey, oh, this is actually a selectman appointed position? All right, I'll read into it,
Yeah, and I guess we should put up there, somewhere in there, it's gotta say
Yeah.
the departments that he's in charge, they are in charge.
Right, exactly. And then they go, no, I'm all set, and, why? Because if they have to read three-quarters way through it, then, they may lose interest or not see it or whatever, so. I'm just thinking, again, to Salem's point, I think there should be something in that summary
Yep.
that kind of wraps it up real quick. And again, it doesn't have to be very specific, but,
So
so I kind of
trying to
like.
differentiate between writing an ad and writing the job description.
Right, no, and I understand that,
But the summary's kind of the ad.
but it also puts it out very, very clearly of
Yeah.
who's doing what. And how that position is crafted.
Anytime I put in for one, it basically is what the summary of the job description was, or the salary attached is
Mm-hmm. At
what
the
the
top,
ad was.
at the top, right, so,
This is the part, 'cause you're not gonna put all that in the newspaper, costs you money.
so did you?
So can I throw
Yep.
one version out?
Yep.
So it's going to be the first two sentences. The DPW director will be appointed by the Board of Selectmen to oversee and manage the Department of Public Works. And then that would kind of that would be the end of that sentence. And then the director will step into an active role in any task necessary for the completion of a project or activity. And then that would be that, and some kind of like as applies to highway, solid waste management, whatever we decide to,
With, I'm gonna say,
department functions.
within all highway and transfer station activities?
The other t-
Encompassed, maybe? Encompassed in all highway and transfer station activities? I don't know.
How would you, applicable departments?
I like Benji saying department functions, because then we don't have to commit to dividing departments,
Yeah,
which,
exactly.
whatnot.
If,
It's-
which
but
ones are we giving
functions.
them? I like the summary as a catch-all, so that anything we kind of miss down below that we're specific to, we can always go to the summary, is because it's sort of like this big safety net in relations to the review process.
What if instead of, activities, we use operations?
Sure.
The DPW director will be appointed by the Board of Selectmen to oversee and manage all highway and transfer station operations.
Sure.
Sounds good.
The director will step into an active role, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Okay. You gonna give that to Naomi? So she
We're
can
working
type-
on it.
So she can type that up?
I see she's still over there feverishly trying to comment and keep up to us, but we got 5 heads going different directions here, so. All right.
I thought I shut that up already.
Did we want to put that greenfield line at the end of it? Or is that too much in the summary?
I think it does get a little wordy.
That would almost be like a responsibility
Yeah.
duty type
Because so
thing.
many of these were broken up into
Yeah.
more sections than just duties and responsibilities,
Yep.
and then a single education line.
Yeah.
Some of
That's,
them were kind of,
So I think we're probably pretty good with the summary at this
yeah.
point. So we want to call that a final draft?
the only question I had,
Draft
and
final.
it's just a question.
Yep.
It says director will have the ability to become diversified. What's the intent of that?
Basically, like I say, it's the big safety net.
Yeah.
So it's basically making them agreeable to what we've had to do internally here, is to create these hybrid positions, where it's not, there's just where we can say, we need you to step in.
To
Yeah.
do X, Y, Z?
For instance, down below, it talks about the town administrator asking them to set up voting booths.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, I like the catch-all, then maybe,
Maybe it's
I
just a
I don't love
term.
that it says to become, because it's assuming,
Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
aren't
it could-
already.
I agree with you. I think the sentence reads awkwardly, but I think that's why it's there.
yeah, we'll have the ability to, I don't know, not act, but to
Or
operate,
must have the ability,
to, yeah, yeah.
how's that? Not become, but must.
What about,
Or will.
I was gonna say, the director will,
Have the ability to adapt.
the director's role will be diversified and must be able to adapt scheduling changes to accommodate adverse weather conditions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That changed the subject from the director to its role.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
It was really close.
Yeah, it was a shot in the dark.
You want to put a side note, we'll come back to it,
Yeah, we can do
clear our
that.
heads.
Okay. All right, so, I guess we'll go down through the bullet points. Exercise response.
Do we have sidewalks?
We don't have sidewalks. I did have that one crossed off.
All right, well, that's one less thing they gotta maintain.
I did have a punctuation quibble, and I'm just gonna apologize for all of them in advance. When it's a list of lists, the lists are separated by semicolons. So it'd be exercises responsibility for all snow removal, semicolon, construction, semicolon, and maintenance and repair of roadways, bridges, and public areas.
Okay.
Yada, yada, yada.
Now-
So there was that and an and missing before maintenance.
I think that probably we should remove the last sentence.
me too.
And move it to the next one down.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I just think that's not that particular line, that's not
Right.
that bullet.
Yep.
Public areas.
So you're gonna,
I would think,
Yeah.
Manages, supervises day-to-day operations should just be
It's
its
a pretty
own.
big
That has
deal.
nothing to do with
I think that,
fixing sidewalks.
I think that should just go down to the next one, it says manages, supervises, trains, and evaluates.
Yeah.
That sound better?
Yep.
a new bullet?
No,
Well, right,
No.
put it with the second bullet
Put it with the
instead of
second
first.
bullet.
Second bullet,
manages, comma, or semicolon, supervises, yeah.
yeah.
think yeah.
So since you seem to be the most grammatically gifted, we're gonna assume your red line is what will give Naomi.
And I'm happy to do that at the end, like,
Okay,
do it properly, like, I'm
Yeah.
happy to do it at home, but
Right.
to do that properly,
Yeah, you need
yeah,
more
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But you
Well,
will
what I mean
com-
is,
you'll
I don't
com-
want to take like a board action on my own by
no,
making an
you-
edit.
yeah, you communicate it to the town administrator, she's gonna give us draft 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
fine.
then draft 2 will all proof if there's something that stands out that we feel like.
I'm happy
you-
with that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, I'm good.
Oh,
See, I think there's overlap in 2 and 3 as well. I think that, we have supervisors, trains, personnel, so we have a personnel line, and then we move to materials and equipment,
Yeah.
when bullet 3 is about personnel again, hiring, discipline, termination, et cetera.
Right.
So I think we need to group those two together. My personal thought.
Or,
And-
or,
And eliminate modified methods, procedures, priorities to meet challenging conditions, determines materials and equipment needed to complete the project or job.
I don't want to say eliminate, but move it.
So a new bullet?
modified methods.
Yeah.
Well, can I lean on this one again? This Greenfield, they had a totally separate supervision section, which was, this is the supervision you will get, which is Board of Selectmen and Town Administrator, and then this is the supervision that you will, they say exercise.
Okay.
So kind of lump what you're, all the supervision stuff you're talking about.
Be
Lump it
all lumped
together.
under supervision.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah, that's kind of where I was at with it. Is
So then you can still have top level bullet points, but
Okay,
header.
I like that.
sounds good.
I think I like that. Yeah. If that makes any sense, Naomi.
So like a supervision header ahead of essential
Yeah,
duties and
exactly.
responsibilities.
Exactly.
Oh, I know what he was talking about, I
Okay.
just, I mean,
Yeah.
I've tried to catch up and I've rewritten and,
Well, that's why I said you might want to just wait until we're
To it then.
until we're 5 bullets in and then start the back way.
You're gonna put
So.
supervision in there as a header, and then,
So, yeah, we're gonna create subcategories.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably
yeah.
Yeah,
for the better.
yeah,
that's what you did on the other one.
exactly.
So. Now, to Benji's, do you think 2 would slide over into that supervisors, trains, supervision? Do you think that would kind of blend with that, as far as the personnel level? Consistent with budget, or no?
yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Well, it's definitely 14 supervisors and works with
Supervise,
employees.
yeah.
Yeah.
And supervise.
Okay. I just don't want to forget about what, I mean, I know we're going down through this, but I
Yeah,
just don't want to forget
so
about.
when we get
the work Benji did
we can
too.
always grab and input them on round 2, right?
Right.
If we're missing something or we feel like
Yeah.
we need to add to it. So in round 2, what we'll do is, I think breaking it into the subcategories, so as we move down through, the next would be the monetary side of it, the budget side, Salem? Is that, would you agree?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Kind of jumps right there, right?
So maybe we,
Under administrative duties required, report regular town administrator, it would fall somewhere into that?
so maybe what we should do is classify the bullets
Yeah,
to
that's
give
what,
that, to
So
give
if
them a
it's-
header.
Yeah, so just number them, supervise would be number 2, say, and then you got something else, it'll be number 3.
Summary would be number 1.
Yep,
That makes sense, or?
yep.
you may have,
make a key.
Yeah. And then, so, obviously, the makes recommendations on hiring, discipline, that would be section 2, which would be
Supervision.
supervision.
And then maybe more broadly than just budget, but like administration,
Yeah. Yeah, we could have a header of that.
just to keep from having a whole bunch of headers with 1 or 2 bullets in them.
Right. Well, I'm just, like, right now, I'm just trying to bucket the bullets, I'll say,
Yeah.
you know? And obviously, that first line of the second bullet, I think we decided that would go in that supervision bucket as well.
Right, managers and supervisors.
Right. But it stops
Names
at,
and
personnel.
Yeah,
And then we have that modifies methods, et cetera, to float somewhere else.
that was the next one down, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, that was a second sentence in that second bullet.
Yeah.
But I think it has substance, it's just not there.
I mean, responsibility for safe, efficient operation fall under supervisory too, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I think that would fall under the
I
supervisor.
think most of it is, 2/3 of it's gonna, probably.
With that particular bullet point, I'd never seen the term municipal trash and recycling center as applied to the town of Ware. So I didn't know that should be transfer station.
Just to make the
Yeah.
terminology
Yeah,
right.
good, yeah.
Sure. So take that out, right?
Just put transfer station.
Yeah.
But would that, no, I guess it would be.
And then the next one says administrative duties are required, but we're putting that under an administrative headline, right? That really,
Yeah, I think
it
that's,
don't fit. or
that doesn't fit.
This is administrative job, well, I don't know.
That would
Maybe it
almost,
should go in there.
It's like a
somewhere.
last bullet catch-all
I
again.
was gonna say, that's like a section 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not,
I guess it needs to be in there, I don't know. It don't fit to me.
it don't fit in this line, no,
No,
no.
That's just the first section. I mean, the rest of it says reports regular town administrator. And us as needed. I don't know. This don't seem like it fits. It might be all right, I guess. Definitely preparing the budgets, right?
That'd be administrative though, I think,
That'd
right?
be administrative.
Is that what we wanna call it, administrative? Or, as Greenfield calls it, duties and responsibilities?
Well, so this is like the, well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
That's kinda how they catch all that,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah,
functions,
there are a
I
whole
guess.
bunch of them. Yeah, New Boston was same kind of thing, supervision in a couple of sections, and then everything was put in essential duties
And then
until
knowledge and skills, which
knowledge.
which you have knowledge and skills in the back.
Which the one we got, between the one you guys had and the one I had was duties and work performed, which I guess that, it still says the same thing.
Oh, yeah,
right? That- that's-
absolutely.
Instead of administrator, I don't know, that, one of these two titles might be just fine the way they are.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I-
really
but
going,
then-
going
It
through.
does, it does say, they've said duties and responsibilities more often than not, so.
Right.
Maybe that would be,
And then on the, I didn't read the back, next one of this, because then you gotta, I had 3, right? Then you had required knowledge and skills, which would be
that's a
being able
separate
to drive a
section.
tractor mechanic and knowing
Yep.
things.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think-
your qualifications would be more or less your education,
Yeah,
experience.
but I think that's probably at the end of it, of knowledge and skills or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
It is, and that's, I just don't know, all these might fit under the
Well, it's-
headline that it's on.
Right, skipping through all these again, all these other towns, it's supervision, duties and responsibilities for, like, as you say, the
Catch-all.
catch-all, everything, and then knowledge, skills, and abilities, as you
Okay.
say.
Right.
So we're not
So supervision
lost in
really
words
would
here.
just be a couple bullets probably, and then the rest of it
Yeah.
would go under, right?
Right. So probably,
Supervision is just,
we'll call essential duties and responsibilities, section 3.
Yep.
Bucket 3. And that,
so what was 2 again?
2 was the supervision.
Right, that's what I got, but.
Yeah, and 3 is the essential duties and responsibilities. So I think that would be the first one, the first bullet under essential would be in the essential duties. I think that's correct.
Yep.
To put that there.
Essential duties, we're putting as 3 now?
Yep, that's
Okay,
gonna be
alright,
bucket
gotcha.
3.
Yeah,
Yep.
all right.
And then, I think the recommends, prepares, monitors, presents, et cetera, to the CIP, I think that's, number 3. That's a duty and, it may not be in the right order, but it's under that duty and responsibility.
yeah. 3.
Receives, it says received, but receives residents, employee. I don't know if that's really, resident, employee, and contractor all fall in the same.
Yeah,
Dealing with employee and dealing
I
with a
think,
contractor is
I
two
think
different
employee
things.
should be removed, I don't know. Just, to me, it's.
Maybe
it's-
another bullet somewhere else, but not part of that one.
Because residents and contractors are outside of the house, right? They're outside of our house. as a town. So, I don't think that employees should fall under that same line. And honestly, I think that goes back to the recommends hiring, discipline, termination, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we can just strike employee out of that line.
Really, it's kind of negative even, if made grammatical, receives resident and contractor complaints. It's like, more like you interact with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somewhere else had that worded different. I was trying to look at
Like I
that.
say, yeah,
Resident employees and contractors.
It says, well, it's kind of, again, grouped together in one thing, but attend meetings of the Board of Selectmen to discuss operational, budgetary, and/or personnel issues. Would that,
Well, I think this is more like somebody calls on the phone and has a
yeah,
problem.
they gotta deal with that, yeah.
You blew over my mailbox.
right,
Instead of complaints, what about concerns?
I like that word better.
Because complaint sounds very negative to me.
Yeah, I like concerns. I think that's a better word.
Well, and the reason I said interacts with is also because receives, it's like you receive it and it's saying you don't have to do anything with it.
Right.
Well,
Or how about
you
we
just take it and you put it in the trash can.
says, I got another one too, says ability to establish, maintain an effective working relationship with the public. And then news media, which I'm not sure we need that in there, but with the public, employees, external agencies and organizations. We could maybe get rid of the employees again,
that's
but it
good.
says ability to establish and maintain effective working relationships with the public, instead of fielding complaints or
Yeah.
calls or.
I think that one probably would be better than,
Get rid of this,
just get rid of this and just add what Benji had
and we
right
can,
there.
which is number 6 on my second bullet, but when we might
I
get
see
rid of,
Yeah, it looks like you need to get a couple things out of it,
Yeah.
but the majority of it I like, yeah.
Okay, so number 6, we're gonna add over here. So we're gonna take that whole sentence out.
Take
yeah,
that whole bullet right out.
All right, and then we're gonna put number 6 on Ben's.
Yeah, from the required knowledge and skills, we're gonna put that under bucket 3. But we did say that we were going to remove employees.
well, read it out loud, somebody else read it out loud.
Ability to establish and maintain effective working relationships with the public, news media, and external agencies and organizations. And we stop there.
And select board.
Well, yeah, because it's gonna be effective working relationship, so it
Sorry.
should be with the town administrator and select board too, I guess. Gotta get along with everybody, I guess what it's saying. I don't know. I almost thought about scratching out news media, we don't really have that, but I suppose if someone shows up, you're supposed to.
Yeah, you still gotta, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, that whole line kinda fits, what do you think?
I'll go with that, just take employees out, just strike employees.
Still take employees out, yeah?
I think employees still should come out, yeah. Just because I think that still falls under that supervision tab rather than a duty and responsibility.
All right, but I think if we do that, I'd like to put in that we need to maintain an effective working relationship with employees somewhere, because I've worked places that didn't happen, and it makes it,
Difficult.
I mean, we're kind of apples and oranges, because this is
Yeah.
a duty compared
Yeah.
with a skill. You
Yeah.
need to have the skill to be able to work well with people, and that does include employees, but if you consider that a duty, it does fall under a previous bullet point already.
Right.
well, then
Yeah,
just
so-
scratch out that one, just
Can-
scratch out that.
So, I think on the first round, right, it's stating that it will be your responsibility to acknowledge, receive
And mitigate.
calls from residents and then contractors and address those issues, right? I mean, I think that's the intent of that line, where line required knowledge and skills says you have to establish effective working relationships with the public. That wouldn't be receiving a call, having an effective working relationship with the public, right? Or would they fall under the same thing?
I think it wouldn't be very effective if you didn't answer them back.
And I think having that working relationship is an umbrella. I think it's a
It says
broad.
Determine corrective.
Yeah, so we
Determine
eliminate
corrective action.
receiving and addressing complaints from the public.
Notify the town.
I just don't think that, I do, personally I do. Get rid of it and then
Okay.
keep this one.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
okay
care
with
if-
it, I
I don't
just-
care if we put it under responsibilities or knowledge,
Right.
but if we, it's
But
kinda
the
saying the
ter-
same
but
thing.
he doesn't,
I
but
think
who
it's an
did,
umbrella term.
It is, so,
It's
so it
establishing a
states that,
working
it
relationship.
states that the person would determine appropriate corrective action response and notifies town administrator as required?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know what the rest of the board thinks, I think so. I think it's,
That's fine. And we're gonna eliminate news media, or we're leaving that?
no, we're gonna leave it in there. You never know.
And we're leaving employees there too?
No, I think we're still gonna take employees out of it,
Employee
Okay.
out.
yeah.
Well, anyway, I'd have that as another bullet then.
Action response.
They think that's as important as getting along with the public.
Can we?
I don't know where to put it, I'm just saying I want that
Well,
language
what
somewhere.
I'm thinking is maybe we can add that language
Corrective.
in one of the supervisory spots.
Okay,
Once we,
yep,
I guess highlight that and say, yes, we want that somewhere. And then once this chopped up piece of meat that we have in front of us comes back as a different draft,
Yep.
then we can re-inject it somewhere.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, I don't know where else to put it.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, I don't disagree. Like you said, you gotta get along with the crew.
And when I put, because I'd moved that from somewhere else, I believe,
This
I like that sentence,
to the
Yeah.
not saying that
person
that's where it needs to be,
the
but
resident?
Yeah.
those things are very important, to get
resident
along with the
versus
public
response.
and the employees.
Well,
I think is the most important part of this whole job,
Well, you
to
could,
be successful.
you could even write the line again and say, ability to establish, maintain effective
Replacing with this,
working
with
relationships with supervised employees,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
And just add that somewhere else, I think.
Yeah, that's number 6.
Okay. Provides information and recommends modifications in service to meet the public needs of the town administrator.
And that almost
I think,
covers the one above we scratched out.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, to an extent, I mean, it's not it's not a specific concern, but
Saying
it could be a
the same
broad
thing, kinda.
concern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that stays under essential duties and responsibilities, I feel.
And so I just want to clarify when I'm like,
Yeah.
when I'm coming through doing a grammar edit at some point, or so I had written down, provides information about and recommends modifications to service.
Okay.
Like, is that,
Yeah.
like, going forward,
I'm
is
okay with
that
that.
small? Should I bring it up, or just deal
No,
with it later?
that's fine. I
Okay.
think
Well, do it. Bring it up.
that broadens the line,
Yeah.
right? So what was it? How was it?
Provides information about and recommends modifications to service. So then they're both, they line up properly with service.
Yep, I like that.
Modification and
Yeah.
service.
Now, it says approves driveway permit application. Should we add on to that, approves driveway permit applications in conjunction with?
I don't think approves is the right word. 'Cause they don't all get approved. Reviews?
Reviews.
Reviews driveway permit applications in conjunction with the building department?
But do you approve?
Well, you're supposed to, but if they don't meet you gotta review them first, they don't always make them.
Review the driveway
They
permits.
won't always make it, right?
Permit
All right.
I think
application.
99% of the time they do, but it doesn't mean, you say approved, and the guy comes in and says you gotta approve it.
So, all right, so how about reviews and approves?
Reviews,
Because you still get that
I
first bite at the apple.
You have to have the responsibility of approving.
Does that go through planning board at all? Does that need to be included in that line?
Some do, but no, but it goes to the building
They
department.
should put the driveways on the plan, so when they're approved, they're approved.
Right, but still, the building department is still involved,
It's part of the building permit.
so definitely should have the building department in there, I think.
But this, unless it entails the fire department, there's a lot of criteria that involves the fire department, certain driveways, length and steepness is the,
Well, that's gonna,
other than that,
Article
this
36.
person does all the approval of the driveways
Right.
by themselves.
driveway permit.
But-
They go, the permit's issued in there, they have nothing else to do with it. They call and say, we have a permit for you. If it's other things, it's steep and it's long and those things, then the Board of Fire Wards at the particular moment, which I guess, I
well,
don't know.
that's what I was saying, is we gotta keep this
Later
broad.
on, that's gonna fall something else, because there's no more Board of Fire Wards.
We gotta keep this broad, because again, we're gonna be losing the board of fire wards in a year. To keep this broad and open, how do we write that? You know,
What
looking in the future.
is the chain of command, or what was it? It probably hasn't changed. As far as, so you would approve an application, and then do you sit on it and wait for another department to call you and ask, is this done? Or do you need to carry it over to them?
So how it worked was they bring it in, driveway permit gets issued right away, but they don't have to finish it until the completion of the house. So they didn't have to pave the apron stuff while the trucks are going in and out with concrete. And so it didn't have to be finalized until the end, but it got approved first. That way, if it didn't get approved and they couldn't have that driveway, then
They couldn't get anything in
nothing
and out.
went in.
Okay.
You'd have to move the garage.
Right, so,
And
and there's a list,
and-
of there's obviously I call them 10 Commandments, but there's a list of requirements, and they have to follow all those, and if they don't, then they go back to drawing.
But you still had the ultimate authority at
But
the
it
end of
was
the
the
day.
Public Works Director's authority to,
So I think they approved.
Well, and what I'm getting at is like, who needs to hold that piece of paper?
Yeah.
Public Works Director.
And so like, you need to say, and maintain, document, whatever,
Okay.
just something about.
He or she holds it for the entire duration of the build.
Yeah.
So, yes, they hold it, the highway department.
So
When it's
approves driveway
completed, then a
permit
copy gets
applications
handed out to everybody.
and maintains, maintains proper document control through life cycle, I don't know.
How about reviews driveway permit application criteria for approval?
Well, you have to still, you're reviewing it, Ben, but you also have to work with the fire department has to review it too, right?
No, not all of them.
Not all of
And
them.
pretty soon, they're not gonna be none of them.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. I guess we don't know that.
We don't know that yet.
But to back up on that statement, for your average permit, no.
No.
Public Works Director,
So what would you call the 10 Commandments if you were gonna use, so
Well-
they must be driveway specific.
yeah, there's 10
Driveway
specifications.
specifications?
Yeah.
Okay,
But, yeah,
so reviews driveway permit specifications for approval of application?
I guess so.
I do like that. 'cause-
Well, but that makes it sound, if the specifications are already written, you don't have to review them.
No.
Yeah, okay.
You are reviewing
So
and,
you're reviewing them to make sure the driveway meets those specifications, right?
yeah, review
So-
driveway permit applications following specifications defined by the town or
Highway
the state or
department
whatever.
or,
The building department
Building
or the driveway permit.
That's why I didn't know just reviews
Yeah.
the driveway permit applications. Because the application is there on the books.
you're gonna
That
review
person
it,
has
and
to
if it's
review
not
it.
right, then it's,
And they make review and, make recommendations. Because how it works, I'm only gonna explain it in case you wanna word it different, Salem, is how it works is, and for anyone else don't know, but I think the rest of you guys know, is you get it and they tell you where the driveway's gonna be, you gotta go look, and it's up to the Public Works Director to decide if it needs a culvert or does not need a culvert. If it's on a dirt road, it doesn't need a paved apron. If it's on a paved road, it does need a paved apron. That's up to that person to decide. There's 10 rules, but it's up to that person to look and see if it meets those rules. Does it need a paved apron? Yes, it does, it's on a paved road. And then you write on that, you bring it back to building department, that paper, that person gives it to the homeowner or contractor's building the driveway. And that's how the chain goes. So you do review the applications, but you also make the recommendations on that.
Based on the specifications.
Right.
All right, how about this? Reviews, recommends, and approves. Yeah, reviews, recommends, and approves driveway permit applications.
Who would ever think, right?
I thought it sounded
This is-
pretty easy when we first wrote it in
Yeah,
there.
it was 4 words.
Yeah.
15 minutes later.
All
What
right,
about handles, driveway permit applications?
Yeah.
Because you may approve them, you may reject them.
Say that again?
Yeah.
And just handles.
We have gotten really
review them,
just cross the desk, yeah.
Yeah.
you handle them.
Yeah.
Still down to 4 words.
Yeah, we went to a paragraph.
I just,
But
well,
the other thing
I was
too
gonna
that-
move, I just moved permit. I don't know if it sounds any better or any worse. Reviews, recommends, and approves driveway application permits.
Sounds good, Ricky.
So,
Yeah.
but you're
That's
not
right.
But he
recommending a
may not
permit.
approve it. He may not approve it. There may be a problem.
Approves or denies.
I don't like recommends, because you're not, you're not
You're
recommending.
not recommending it
Yeah,
either.
that's-
Okay, let's have to stick with handles. Move on. Put a star there. We might come back to that one
Re-
by next week.
Reviews driveway application permits?
Period.
Perfect.
Leave it there.
There it
Just
is.
leave it right there.
Yeah.
Don't go any
Yeah,
further.
reviews driveway application permits.
Okay,
I was close first time, I just missed the permits.
You just mix the two words up.
Okay.
All right, perform other duties as assigned by town administrator.
that's
That's
putting up-
that's
putting
critical.
up voting
Put up the
booths.
voting.
That's
booths.
critical,
Right.
yeah, that's gotta stay.
Moving filing cabinets,
Right.
Moving what?
filing cabinets.
Yeah.
Ensures proper maintenance, careful, department equipment. I don't know, it's splitting hairs, facilitates, facility and ground maintenance for DPW and transfer station buildings. Department of Public Works is highway and transfer station. So we could just say DPW buildings.
Well, I think we've called them out further up.
Because later on, and
We-
not
we-
to say what is, but if we add things to that, then we're gonna have to add on to that some more. Where DPW buildings, whether it's the highway and transfer, highway transfer and sewer, or highway transfer,
Whatever.
whatever.
I think,
Facilitates-
I think highway department and transfer station buildings, I think for just consistency, right? Get rid of DPW, and then if we do add, we'll have to add them on.
Yeah, just for consistency down the line, because we've said highway department and transfer station in previous.
I think it.
Yeah, and I guess I should have said something before, because I kind of, that's fine. I think DPW covers it, because that's why Department of Public Works shortens up.
Right, no,
For
I,
all of
Public
those
Works.
things.
but some of them I think need to be, itemized too.
Because
Yeah,
you go
I
way back and
thought-
say
I
the
thought
same
any-
thing with efficient operation of DPW equipment. We called out highway and transfer station again, where you
Put
could
highway equipment.
well, DPW, because it's more than highway.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kinda with you there. Just
I
make it
kind of
generic
like to
and
change
leave it
everything
alone.
DPW.
Generic, yeah.
And get rid of it even up top?
Well, no, I think that needs to be specified in the top
Okay,
as what is under the DPW
Right,
umbrella.
I agree.
But once it's under the umbrella, then it doesn't have
This
to be
is-
referenced every time.
sure. I think it's, I don't, yeah.
Okay.
I think everybody will get it, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. And
well, then I guess we're done.
knowledge of methods, materials, tools. And we wanted to keep that, the federal laws, et cetera, we wanted to
Yep.
keep that one in.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought it was. I don't know anybody that has all the knowledge of them all, but.
No.
And this one I got rid of too. Just because I
highlighted
guess
the
lack
same
of my
one.
time, I didn't break it. As some of these I wanted to break out, and this one I didn't, so I scratched it off. Of civil engineering, I guess
Yeah.
when you get a civil engineer in, you're hiring him to give you his knowledge.
Because that's the thing, that's one of the things I called out on, like, every other town is looking for a lot of experience and honestly,
Yeah.
college degrees and whatnot, and that fits with that kind of
That's
job.
right, yeah.
But I'm not saying that's what we need,
No, I don't,
But-
yeah.
if that's not what we're looking for, then I agree that that's kind of a bullet point for that
Because
type
then
of
under
role.
education, we got high school diploma, but we want them to practice civil engineering.
Right.
So-
Yeah, I think that's, again, like you said, I think as long as.
Yeah, I think the intention there, though, is not,
Not
it's
to
the
be.
practices so that you can actually read a civil engineering set of drawings, right? You understand what
But would that be?
grading, contours,
Right.
Right.
you can't build a road if you don't.
No, if
Well, I
you-
thought the last two sentences spelled that out, though, I
That's what I was
guess.
gonna say.
Understand DOT specifications to roads, bridges, culverts, and apply to, ability to understand blueprints, plans, and maps.
Sure, then drop the first line.
Yeah.
I think drop the first line.
But I
and
think
use
that's the
second.
intention, is that
Yep.
you gotta be able to, there's certain,
Yeah, yeah, I think we can just eliminate that first line, and the second line covers all that with the blueprints,
Okay.
plans, maps.
That's fine.
That sound right?
sure.
Okay. So should, I think that ability to delegate responsibility to assigned personnel, I think that should be under the supervision tab. So, just thought.
Put S there, yep.
We don't have anything about a minimum here, you know. If you're taking the civil engineering thing out, and there's the ability to understand that, for them to get to that point, I mean, I think you need some, you know, you're gonna have to have somebody that has some experience, you know.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be under the job description. If we're gonna say we're running the ad, then I think we drop into.
I mean, if we do compare to other towns, they all say,
They all
and, I
say
mean, I wrote them down,
associate with
4
at
to
least-
10 with 4 years supervision, as a supervisor,
part
8
of-
years with 3 as a supervisor,
So
7 to
it's part of-
10,
it's
5
part
years
of-
as a
it's part of the
supervisor,
job
10
description?
years
Yeah,
as,
it's part of the job description.
yeah,
And I
that's
looked
what
at a
I'm
lot of
saying
them.
right now.
Well, I think that's probably, that would be under the minimum qualifications
Right, this is under minimum.
tab, though, not, yeah.
Hey, we got just a couple left in the other one, right?
Right.
We'll finish this and then add a couple of
But,
Well, I think-
but that, what you were saying,
We're gonna take that first sentence out, right?
Yep, but I think that's still a duty and responsibility to be able to do that, but I think you can reiterate it maybe a little bit stronger in qualifications. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that these are numbers that we should necessarily mimic,
It's
but
just
just,
they're
that is
there.
the format that,
They're there.
Well, they're, every
In the
town,
format.
every town I looked at's doing it, though.
yeah.
Everything I looked at
so how many we got
online.
under supervisory so far? Cause I kinda missed. Right now I got like 2, so did I miss a couple?
1, 2, 3, I think 4 now.
Okay.
I've got 4.
I just wanna make sure we didn't,
No, I've
yeah,
got,
you're right, I got 4, never mind.
yeah, I've got
I just didn't
4
wanna
of them.
have one with one bullet, like you said.
And then I think everything else kind of fell into that essential duties and responsibilities bucket. And I think we will need to have a
So,
minimum
so here,
qualifications.
so, yeah, I'm just going down, I'm
Yep,
starting to.
me too.
Ability to establish, maintain effective working relationship with town officials, employees, officials of other government. Do you want to get rid of that? You want employees, because that was critical to what you said earlier, effective working relationships. Officials of other governmental authorities, consultants, contractors, and the public. I mean, that read okay?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
And I think that would be under, would that be under minimum qualifications, or would that be under
No, I think that should be.
supervision, or would that be under minimum, or duties?
I think.
I think we talked about, to begin with, is under supervision, somebody said they wanted it under the duty, so I
Yeah, we
don't
did-
care where it
did
goes,
write
as long as
three-
it's somewhere.
3 for under the duties. So,
Yep, stays where
what
it
do you
is.
think about,
So those 2 and 6 are,
I like what you did though with the knowledge and the skills, because it does kind of switch here with
Yeah.
skills and abilities
Yeah.
kind of at the end.
right,
the
Really,
possession of
really the
this,
last one on the,
so that could almost be like section 4.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah, I put 4 up there, actually.
and I had the CDL under minimum qualifications.
Really, that starts
Wait,
with,
all right, so let me ask you this, should minimum qualifications and required knowledge and skills be combined together? Because I think it's, you're requiring I'll say CDL, you're requiring it, so it's already a minimum qualification if you're requiring it.
yeah,
You have
right.
to have
I
it.
think it's fine.
Well, yeah,
It's a
but I'm
requirement.
saying is Ben separated the 2 here, but do we really need the separation? Or can we just bucket it under
I guess
required knowledge
I
and
guess
skills?
most of my qualifications that I had listed, and that was in, them were the ones
Or those ones you think wiggle room could be on?
it was, my qualifications line was either education or experience-based.
Okay.
With the exception of the response time, but those are only 2 I had under qualifications, that's kind of your,
Well, really, your last 2 are not a knowledge or a skill, but they are certainly qualifications.
But you could put that in a duty, you could put that in essential duty, right? Must live within 30 minutes of whatever.
Yeah,
So it doesn't have to be,
yeah.
you know,
I guess we're gonna have a qualifications line or no, I guess, that's it.
I guess I don't know if we necessarily need it, if we have a required knowledge. Well, hold on.
I'd looked at a
let's do
few and
it.
they did have the qualifications at the end, so I just had
Yeah,
kept that title.
required knowledge, skills, and qualifications, bucket it all together
Fine.
as a header.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
I think that we can do that.
Yeah.
I
Because
kinda
that
thought
just
these
said,
ought to
no,
be at the
I mean,
end
it's-
because it's,
It
It is
is,
separated. Yeah, Greenfield has it separated.
Yeah.
cause at the very end, right, all this stuff, you're gonna buzz through it and you're gonna be like, yeah, I got most of that. And if somebody, we interview them and we like them and we think they got it, it's probably not gonna you know, if this one line, they don't have in their credentials, and we were like, it's probably not
Reflects
gonna
it,
matter.
yeah.
Not
But
gonna
the
matter.
qualifications, I mean, not saying we can't bend, but to do the job that we're asking, they kinda got to have these 5 or
Yep,
6
I got you,
things in here.
I got you, yep,
Or they're not gonna be able to do none of the rest of it. If
I
they
got
don't
you.
have any
Yep.
experience, don't have any licenses.
that's
or-
fine.
No,
And when we get to qualification, we discuss it, but I did leave open a year to obtain them. I didn't say you had to have them when we.
no
Yeah.
license, yeah.
Yep, yeah, okay, all right.
Benji, can you answer a question I had on the last one? And I think it actually came up the last time the board discussed this.
Which one?
It used to say a step 2, solid waste principal operator certification step 2.
They still step them out.
They like, yeah, that was the question.
No, there, now, and I did write it wrong, 'cause I think I said 4, didn't I?
Yeah,
Solid waste operator level
See,
4.
it used to be called levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now they do
operator,
principal and.
technician.
Principal.
No, it's principal and something. Principal's the level 4 now.
Yeah,
So
principal
it should say
operator
principal.
certification.
Does it
Yep.
say principal?
Should say
It says-
principal.
Yeah, it says solid waste principal operator. right?
Yeah, on mine, I said it wrong.
Okay.
Because that's what I've been for 100 years. That's what it still says on my license.
Okay.
But it's principal
So
now.
that is the correct
That answers that
terminology then.
question.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wrote mine down, yeah.
okay. So would we call that, I guess let me ask, would the last 2 bullets be required skills? Or would they be minimum qualifications?
Minimum.
I feel as they probably be minimum qualifications.
That's what I'd say.
That's fair.
Okay. So I think we put that down. And I know we as a board, we chatted about, the CDLB license with no restrictions. Not putting tabs on there, but with no restrictions. We could add endorsements, not saying we can't. But that, you know, cause if you take an automatic up, you have an automatic restriction. Instead of being able to drive stick. I know we don't have many sticks left in the fleet, but we still have sticks.
You know,
Tanker is an endorsement.
Right.
Air brakes is an endorsement or a, restriction. So, again, I don't know how we would properly, I guess,
So,
but,
yeah,
we
the
don't
way,
have
way
in
you,
here, we don't have anything about this person being able to drive, and train an operator on a piece of equipment. You don't have any of that here.
yeah, we did.
that's somewhere we did,
Yeah, we
yeah.
did.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, right there. Has responsibility for the safe, efficient, and effective operation of all equipment associated with we're calling it DPW, but it was Highway Department and Transfer Station.
Okay,
That's like 4 bullets down.
yeah, I see it now. I must
And I know what you mean by what you were saying about the CDL, and I think in one sense, it's splitting hairs, but it's real easy to put the term we want, so we might as well do it, right?
Yeah,
No restrictions, you
With-
can't have a CDLB with no restrictions and no air brakes, so.
right.
Yeah,
So,
But do we want to
I
put,
mean, I
do
think it needs to be CDL with air brake endorsement.
you want to put air brake and tanker endorsement?
You know, tell you what,
I don't wanna make it so we,
Tankers are written,
how are you ever gonna get, I mean, the position is really primarily an administrative position, and all of a sudden we're.
earlier you've asked to them to fill in all spots, which.
well, truck driving, being able to plow in the winter is a very, very important.
That was where
Yeah.
I was getting to. So I understand it's an administrative spot, but
Until it's
you
not.
better know how to grab a wheel and
But
shift
if,
an
but if we
8-speed.
add tanker to it,
Well,
I'm happy with just having CDLB with air brake.
we have 2 of them down there, so I'm just putting it
Yeah, no,
out
I
there.
agree with
I
you.
mean,
You know.
if you want tanker, could we do 6-month year?
Oh, yeah,
you
no,
know,
yeah,
like,
you can have a timeline. I'm not saying have it today.
Just trying to
Yeah.
like meet in the middle, like
Yeah.
maybe today air brake, is that
Air
reasonable?
brake is that's a huge shift.
Yeah,
Tanker is a written endorsement right now. So air brake, you have to go up, actually do the pre-trip drive, et cetera. Air brake, tanker, you go in and say, I want my tanker endorsement, do on the computer, and you have it.
okay.
So
fine.
that's pretty
easy.
easily obtainable,
Okay.
but air brake to me is a bare minimum.
Yeah. So Ricky, why I ask that question is I don't understand it, but I also don't want us to put up so many
No.
roadblocks that people,
No,
Nobody
that's
comes through the
fine,
doors an
yeah.
applicant,
Yeah, we
right?
can
Because
definitely
like, I don't have
put a
that.
timeline on that, and I'd rather see, obviously, road management of whatever fashion over a tanker
And
endorsement.
that's, again,
any
that's
day.
something that could be bent a little. If you
Yeah.
came in and we loved everything about that person, and the only thing they didn't have was a tanker endorsement, we could.
Oh,
we have that.
100%.
Right.
And,
you got 6 months to get it.
And we're also, like Benji said, he also said, there's a timeline on some of these things that we're willing to flex on, the solid waste operator, except like that. And I would rather see those as as mission critical things to be done, and the tanker in a year, but hey, solid level, you need to have that in 6 months, or 90 days, or whatever we set for a bar, and then, but yeah, you gotta have your CDLB when you walk through the door, I'm sorry, that's non-negotiable.
The other thing I just thought of just a second too is, obtain, licenses, obtain underground storage tank, because they're responsible for the fuel
Fuel
station down
stations,
there.
yeah, so we need to put that on there too.
Be able to obtain a UST certification within a
Yeah.
year.
Within a year.
What is it, UST?
Yeah.
And who would do it in the meantime?
There's, well, I don't know who's
We don't have
left, but
anybody.
there's people down there.
Yeah, okay.
Was.
Okay, good, cool. Yeah, that's all I'm wondering, if we need to
Right.
backstop for that.
Well, and that, yeah, discussion for a different thing.
So,
So you got down here too, at least 5 years of progressive managerial experience related on this job. That's something that Vince got, which I think is important.
you said Salem, you said the other ones had, what, 4?
We have 4 to 10 with 4 as supervisor, 8 with 3 as supervisor, 7 to 10 with 5 as supervisor, 10, or equivalent experience,
So-
and then 6 with 2 as supervisor.
So it seems like the average is 4.
I'd say it's 8.
8,
Okay.
4 to 10, 8, 7 to 10, 10, and 6.
yeah, I'd say about 8.
Okay.
I
think-
picked 5, because I
think-
put in
think
for a lot
eight's
of them,
gonna
and
be
they're
a
8 to
hard sell.
10.
I think it's gonna be a real hard sell.
If you
Yeah.
get somebody that's got 10 years' experience, then
In
they're
the
gonna have
current labor
5.
market, it's gonna be
You
very
aren't gonna
hard.
have money for that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
You aren't gonna have
If
money.
you want that,
for
you're gonna have to pay.
A lot of these
You have to
things.
pay a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah.
In the
And,
current-
and
in
some
the
of these are
current
bigger
market.
towns and whatnot.
Well,
Yeah.
where do you get, which one's that? Francistown's not very big.
No, but if they've been there for any long length of tenure,
Yeah.
but they're trying to attract somebody off the street right now.
I don't think trying, putting the 5-year out there, again, that nothing,
5, I think is okay. I think that's 4 to 5 or whatever is fine. I think 8's a little bit of a pull.
and I've gotten interviews when they said you had to have a bachelor's degree and you had to have this, and they hired them that didn't. It was put in there to see if you could attract someone with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 5 years is
It's
okay.
like your master
Oh, yeah,
road
it's fine.
scholar is what, $100?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many that have got that.
Right.
And that used to be on absolutely every public work department's, every one of them.
Now-
Now they've,
But you can
because of
achieve that.
with COVID and
Right.
stuff now.
So-
Right, but, and they figured if you achieved 100 hours, you probably had your 5 years. You don't see that as much now, because there have been a lot
I
of
have
training
30
the last 3
hours.
years. Huh?
I have 30 hours.
Right.
All right, so let me ask a question, and maybe you'd be the one that would know from your, your employment, is it seems like other municipal public trainings have diminished, I'll say. You look at, we look at the police department where they've backed off with their amount of academy trainings that they offer. Fire academy is the same way. Is that road scholar program, is that something that is more?
P-squared's still doing it.
Well, I'm not saying they're not still doing it, but is it harder to get in because there's less classes and the classes fill up faster?
They seem to be coming back after COVID. This is the first year
Mm-hmm.
of non-COVID
Okay.
for 3 or 4 years.
Because I don't want to put an unattainable carrot on that
Right.
if they don't have it. It's just, if we say within a year and it's something like what the police chief's been saying, a year may not be attainable. Physically not attainable.
No, and I don't know,
You know.
I don't know if somebody don't have road scholar, but we like them, that they even gotta obtain it. We should encourage them to go to class,
Oh,
but
and
Then we shouldn't call it a minimum.
We should,
right, to me, it should be, that would be recommended. Because if they physically cannot get into the class for a year, and that's my point.
Right.
Is if we put it says you don't have it, but you need to get it in a year, and they say, well, they're booked out for 18 months, am I gonna lose my job?
Yeah.
That's my point, with
Just say preferred.
with everything
Yeah,
that's going
preferred.
on with
That's
the
real
Should be
shortage.
Yes.
fine, it'd be
Yep,
just
that's
like
fine.
saying a bachelor degree would be
Preferred.
preferred.
Yeah.
You need to know how to use a computer.
Yeah, I think
That's
that needs to be a
nowhere-
minimum
there's-
qualifications,
there's
honestly,
nowhere-
nowadays,
Yeah.
right?
we didn't have that in here?
No.
the other thing that I
In
saw a
Naomi's
lot
we did, but
was
we didn't in this
major
one.
duties. You have,
That's where we, guess not?
And this is
Does
under
it-
what? This is under which one?
Under the last one here, just sufficient experience to understand the basic principles relevant to the major duties of this position, usually associated with at least 10 years' experience. I saw that in about 4 or 5 of them that I looked at.
Which is fine, but I think in the current labor climate, it's gonna be hard to attain.
Well, I don't want to
that.
sell ourselves short.
And I
How do you
don't- I
wanna
don't
word
want
the
to either.
computer
You're
part?
correct.
I thought it was in
No,
there, it's not.
But I wanna make sure that being realists and, you know,
I mean, yeah.
when it comes to time to boil it down, so. All right, so
You wanna
obviously,
put some sort of computer wording in there then?
I think we should under minimum qualifications,
wanna put
Microsoft Word and Excel, I would guess.
office, but they're changing that to
I
365.
must have crossed it
That's
out,
gonna
because
be
one of them, I
crossed at
swear I had that in there. was
Soon,
wrong.
I know, that's why I say it's gonna be 365 soon, but
Yeah.
something along that, because everybody
Well, they're
uses
gonna have to
spreadsheets,
do
everybody
work-
uses Word,
something
everybody uses
similar.
you know,
Excel.
yeah. I'm trying to come up with other ones, but
And
yeah.
actually, a database would be great if they knew how to use it.
Right, right. I mean, you got Outlook and stuff like that, so it's just,
Well, that looks,
you know, but again, it's gonna go 365, and I realize that, but, we should definitely have something in
I
there.
had three small things.
Oh,
I think, just, again, things that others had that we didn't have, like brush and trees. I
Okay.
don't know if that is a responsibility.
Yeah, we could definitely put that in,
Just something about it, again, I don't,
signs.
and then, yeah,
Signs is another one.
yeah, that's fair.
brush trees and signs. I think that would be under the, responsibilities and duties, and I think that'd be easy to add for
I
both.
guess where I thought that fell, and we can spell it out, because that's the most important thing to me on roadways is brush, but I thought exercise responsibility for all snow removal, construction, maintenance, and repair of roadways.
Right.
Yeah, maintenance is trees.
Maintenance of roadways is.
I guess I was
Well-
thinking about, like, there's this
Yeah,
tree right here by
I
the
knew you were gonna
gazebo.
go with that, yeah, yeah. That's not really in the road,
Okay, no, that's
so,
fine.
yeah.
And that was cleaned up today.
There's plenty
Oh,
of,
that big limb was?
It was
Okay,
what
perfect.
today?
there's plenty,
I was gonna
Highway
ask about it tonight.
The
so.
highway guys did it
there's
today.
plenty of stuff on the side of the road right now,
Just
no matter where you
Not
drive.
to go off track with what we're doing here, but just so you know, I had predicted 2 years ago you were gonna lose that part of that tree, if not all of it. Well, why I'm saying it, every time it rains in the front,
It was going in that notch.
it's wet there, and it runs out several days afterwards, so I'm guessing it's rotting
rotting.
down inside. Somebody really ought to take a look at
Well,
that.
it probably made its own trench out there, so. All right,
Something else I saw a lot, and then Benji, you pulled it over, 24-hour availability, so I don't know if that's something we want.
that was, yeah, I think he put that in his, right?
Yep.
Or did we
Yep.
put that in this one?
No, he had it on
He
his.
had it
Okay,
on
yeah, you had it on yours. I think that is crucial as well.
Oh,
yes.
definitely gotta be available
Yep.
by, where, I gotta find mine, see the word, because it said available or to get someone
Available
in.
24 hours a day to meet emergencies or see other department personnel
Yep, okay.
to respond.
Yep,
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, and then this wording, again, you know, tell me if it doesn't make sense. Understand the responsibilities and limitations regarding Class 5 and Class 6 roads, fire lanes, and scenic
Oh,
roads.
yeah, they know all that.
Because, like, I had somebody
Yeah.
frustrated, I think it was my first complaint about how a stone wall had gotten pushed into with the snow plowing.
Well, it's not that, but Class 6 roads aren't maintained by the town.
But would the catch-all for that be under the federal, local, state rules
Yep,
tab?
yep.
I think that would be the catch-all for that. It's not specifically written, but obviously there's
not written
rules and
out.
regulations regarding those, and there's local,
Yeah,
there's
that's fine,
state laws.
that's fine.
I'm just thinking that was a catch-all, that's all. All right, how'd we do? Ran a little bit long, but here we are.
So what are we doing?
Did you get all
So-
that,
We
Stanley?
got all that, right?
Salem's gonna give us,
Didn't even follow.
Salem is gonna give you the second draft.
Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood that. I thought I was getting the draft to proofread.
Oh,
No, you're
Okay,
creating.
well, no, that's
you're-
fine.
You're creating draft two.
I think
Well,
I,
that was, you don't have
But I
to,
think-
but that
I took
was-
it up notes, I can do it.
okay.
Because
We appreciate that.
you do have a strength in grammatical and
Yeah,
so.
happy to do it.
Structuring it, so if you could, it'd be great.
okay. All right,
And that would be another draft.
that'd be draft 2, yep.
Draft number 2.
Could I get Naomi the, like the
Word
Word
version?
doc? Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
That might be a little easier to move around, right? Yeah, yeah. So, let me ask if we want to bounce here. Do we want to go to finalize the TA job description? Or do we want to dive into the police chief, which we probably know is going to be deep?
I don't, yeah.
Go back over that.
Or do we want to do
Let's
the,
finalize her so we get something
and
done.
then elect our
Well, I
officers?
think, yeah, excuse me, Enrique, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think we should at least get a direction of, are we going to work? I mean, what we've done is we brought other towns forward in both the other two positions, right? So
Should we do the same with the police?
Should we do the same with the police, or are we gonna work just primarily off the 2014 document?
I think, go and look at some of the
Probably
other
wouldn't
ones.
hurt to do some, it wouldn't hurt to do some of the
Yeah,
surrounding
just sit and
towns.
read them, you know, and then if you see something that really looks good, you can print it, even if it's only one of the.
Exactly what we
one
did,
page.
exactly what we did tonight, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, follow that same
I
process.
think that's probably a good idea, to follow that same process.
Okay, because there are a couple things that are, we've been talking about almost for a year now, you know, working patrol capability that isn't in this document, community
Interaction.
interaction, that's not in this
Interactions,
document.
yeah.
There's a few things that are specific,
That's fine.
okay,
So I think maybe we table that until we get some more town, does
to our
that
next,
sound,
to our next working session.
to our next work session, put it on the
Sounds
top
good.
of the
Okay.
list? Okay. All right.
Okay, so
So
come
we'll go
prepared
to
for that.
finalize the town administrator's job description. Which I don't think I have that one. I have it in electronic format.
Can I just ask for clarification, are we gonna keep within the same size of the town for other chiefs' descriptions? So you don't want a city of 25,000?
No, it'd be,
No, we'll do
No,
surrounding
yeah, no.
towns.
Okay.
Yeah,
Surrounding
exactly,
neighboring, yeah.
it's like the Norfolk, Virginia one is,
Yeah.
Isn't-
Kind of where I was asking, 'cause-
yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, I did look at it, there's, you know, it's informative, but a lot of it's not applicable.
Right.
Naomi, when did you send that to us? What day?
Last
Do you know?
night.
Last night?
10 of 8?
I don't have it printed then. I don't have it printed. Can we get a printout of it?
March 27, no, that's not
I
it.
sent it at 7:48, I think, last night.
I didn't.
That's Chief Moore. Oh, I got it, right here, I got it. I have it.
I have it.
I can't stand to look at that phone and try to read that.
What's that?
One copy?
Believe so.
Do you need a copy, Salem?
Yeah, it'll be okay.
You can, I can't read it.
Draft number 2, I got it. Just,
It's
it's
at
just,
the end of the day, I'm tired.
just take a minute.
And I don't want to divert on it right now, but if we could take just a second to talk about the park stuff I emailed about.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that at the end. We'll do like a correspondence tab or something. No pun intended, it's almost like pulling teeth, ain't it?
Everyone told me how easy that was, I guess I get a different opinion of that.
Being a board member or pulling teeth?
Pulling teeth.
Oh. All right, so, we're on, finalize the town administrator job description. This board has gone through it. Is there anything huge that we left out, didn't get moved around, didn't get covered in between the two drafts? Or are we happy with what we see?
I didn't get to look at close enough for apostrophes and
Yeah, can
commas, but.
I'll
it looked-
volunteer for another
overall, it
grammar
looked
pass.
fine. What's that?
I'll volunteer.
For a grammar
for
pass
grammar
on draft
pass.
two?
Yep,
Okay,
and then I'll say I'm happy with this.
okay. All right. But I think the intent and the content is 100%. I would say.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in saying that?
I think is what we discussed.
Right. All right, so
So he's gonna do his grammar check and
he's gonna
then
do his
we'll-
one more grammar check and then we'll give it
So
the,
you already have it? You don't need it
The
again?
same thing, I think I have a PDF though.
yeah, he's
Do you
getting,
want to
Word?
read this?
Yes, please.
Do you want to go through this?
No, I mean, to be able to edit it.
yeah,
Yeah.
on the computer.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We will move to the, so I think, again, content's good. We good in saying that?
Yep.
One last grammar and apostrophe check and
Yep.
we'll call it victory. Okay. We'll move to elect chairman and vice chairman. So this is just, it's a nomination, it's a second and a vote. But
So-
who you guys want and whatever.
First one's easy, so I nominate Ricky Hipler to remain chair for the duration of his term.
Is there a second?
What's the duration of your term?
This is last year.
Oh,
March.
Until
Until March.
It's yearly, I thought. I was like,
Yeah, till March. Is there a second?
Well, how do you feel about being nominated?
I've had conversation with Kevin. I don't mind. I will take it. I just hope that whoever is vice chair, will take to heart and shadow it. Because my plan is to not run again. 9 years is enough. So, I got some things I wanna do off-town time, so. But again, I don't mind sitting in the hot seat. But again, just whoever takes vice chair, obviously know that I'm not probably gonna be here next year.
And I make this recommendation based on Ricky's tenure. There's, by experience throughout the year, it's proved invaluable on multiple occasions, knowing the history of the different departments, things that have been reviewed previously. It's, without that, a lot of wasted time and poor decision-making could have happened. So I feel very confident with this personally.
So,
So do we
I
need a
think you've been,
second, if we have one?
Benji was
I
gonna
think
speak.
you've done fine doing chairman. I just wanna make sure you wanted to do it again.
Yeah.
I heard rumblings you were sick of sitting in that seat.
Oh, again, I think with two new members coming in, it is difficult. Obviously, I did kind of want out of it. I didn't know what we were gonna have for a board. But again, if the board wants me here, I have no problem filling the seat. I don't. So, that's not a problem. So,
So do we have a
I'll
2nd?
second you then.
okay. All right, been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Me. All right, I'll take a nomination for vice chair. I'm not out very often, but like I said, it does happen occasionally where I've had to call out, so. And I have no problem helping or guiding, or usually I'm available by phone, so. But,
I nominate Ben. He knows a lot of the departments here, he knows how it works, he's been here 20 years, so he can learn this year and maybe
yeah,
next year
I
take
think,
over.
I think that, like, again, similar to the statements that Kevin made, I think that's pertains to you as well.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Will you take it?
Yeah, I'll do it.
That's always the third question. All right, moved and seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions.
Then.
There you go. See, you brought it up on Monday?
You abstaining for yourself?
I gotta do it right? Need
That'll
you
learn
for
you. Yeah,
Okay.
that'll learn you.
So before
Yes,
we,
yeah.
before we adjourn though,
Yes, we have to,
Salem had sent us an
yeah,
email.
no, we
Oh,
were
thank
gonna
you.
talk about that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
What about I was gonna call it like
I still-
correspondence
I
almost.
just said it 2 seconds ago, I forgot
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. I do want, I read your email real fast the other day.
Yep.
And I'm like, he wants me to do what? And then
No,
I
was-
read it again.
I kept trying to make it shorter and shorter, but.
I just want to let you guys know, in a broader statement, that 6:30 is really the earliest I can get here.
Okay.
I got 45-minute commute from work, and like I said, to get home, get something so my blood sugar is above 0, and, just 6:30 is really that bare minimum. So, I don't, and then I reread it again, and I says, no, Salem wants to bring him in at 6:30 and do that,
Yeah.
so.
So to try and summarize, Park, Monday, Tuesday, interviewed quite a few candidates for Chase Park positions. They came up with a short list, and everybody who was here prior can,
Yep.
fill me in, but what they told me was last year was the first year where candidates were brought before the board instead of just kind of being verbally approved. And so that seemed like a good thing for these hires to do, but maybe not the returning hires. So if we could get the new hires in, very, very quick, non-public. But they did say, it's a lot of, kids, I guess, that have packed schedules that could be at that 6:30. So if we could do non-public, encourage them all to show up, 1 or 2 minutes, and then open up another one afterwards. So
Yeah.
that's the summary version of that email.
I think we've done that in the past, I think, where we brought in, we've done it for the reappointments on boards and committees. If they were reappointment, we
Yeah, the
most of
only.
the time didn't ask them to come in
I
as
mean,
reappointments.
I'm
so.
happy to accommodate anybody's schedule. The only thing is your regular meeting, I don't know, how many are there, do you know?
I think it's gonna be
New?
7 to 10. I think it was 7, but we'll call it
7 new?
10. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
5 minutes apiece. Say we start the meeting at 7?
and then there's a whole crowd waiting for the next one to come in. I'm just You know what I mean? I'm happy to accommodate whatever we need to accommodate.
Right.
I do have one quick question
Or
that's
do
been
we-
asked of me, if you may or may not know.
Let me ask.
Do you know where they advertised?
I don't know.
Because we were never asked to put anything on the website, and we were never asked to put anything on the town hall sign.
No, I came in after the
Yep.
applications were already
Yeah,
submitted, so.
all right, I can ask that question, because I've had complaints from people that didn't even know we were looking for people.
Right.
So I can ask that, that's
I
fine.
know they had a lot of applications.
Yeah,
Let me ask this, would it be more prudent for us to meet in upstairs, 6:30 to 7, and then come down here? We've done that in the past, moving
yeah, it's
the
just a
board.
lot of movement out there.
That's what I'm
I
saying,
don't-
is
I don't
if we
mind.
meet up there,
'Cause I can post 6:30 non-public under B, which is hiring.
right,
Right.
And just have them come upstairs.
I think
And
upstairs.
That's
And
where
we
the
can come
interviews
back
were, so they
down
would
here.
know.
Yeah.
Where they went last
They're
time,
familiar with
yeah.
up there too.
And then we can get back down here and start your
7.
meeting at 7.
I think that's probably best. That
Yeah, and
works.
then can we confirm the 10th is okay for that?
It's fine.
Oh, we're
with
gonna
me.
do the 10th or the 3rd?
Well, we had talked about the 10th, because
Alright.
that was a
You want-
work session day, but
Yeah.
That is.
And that's fine. I have no problem with it.
The
Well,
10th?
yeah,
10th?
if it's a work session, maybe we just
And
hold it
even
down
if
here
we
then.
had, as your email indicated, even if we had some that couldn't do the 10th, maybe we can offer them the 17th early.
Yeah, be more room down here, work session.
Just because I didn't know the 24th
Right.
was,
yeah, right.
Where-
Was it the 10th? What day?
well, hang on,
We had talked about the 10th at the park meeting, so if
I'm
that
I'm good
works.
with that. If that's parks consensus, then we'll go with the 10th. And if that's a work session, I think we just have it right here, because,
yeah, if it's a work session,
So
sure.
Here at 6:30?
yeah, for a work session,
Be under B for
Yep.
park kids.
under B.
The only thing we asked Park last year was for copies of the applicants' applications.
Okay,
And the reason being is to make it at least appear that it's a life experience.
yeah,
and
and it's the
everything.
same thing we talked about Monday with,
Yeah,
full-time hires.
right.
Yeah, it becomes a very,
Yep,
like almost too informal.
yes,
It almost. doesn't-
impersonal.
Right.
well, Just, it doesn't look professional. We're supposed to be a professional board. We have no idea who we're talking to, what position they're applying for, or what their qualifications are.
Absolutely.
Right.
So it'd be nice just to have a piece of paper and say, oh, hello,
Yeah.
Tom.
Yep,
Notice that you did this.
Yeah.
How do you
It-
think
And
that?
make them answer. for
If
questions.
they have, if the park obviously has all the applications,
Yes.
I wonder if that's something you could scan to
Well,
us,
yeah.
or they could scan to us and send to us? As a
Even if she
board.
dropped them off, we have a scanner.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Anything else?
So
I got?
Salem, do you want me to reach Lisa and Janine, or what would you like me to do?
yeah, if you would. And then could you also talk to Beth about the new hire, like having the packets ready for
Yep.
them? Thank you.
Because last time I reached them, and then they coordinated with the kids.
Yes, yep.
So I'll get info and tell them everybody the 10th, and then we can work that together. Beth packets.
Though, I guess I'll throw out, so they wanted to reach out to the kids by tomorrow. So I know with everything you have going on, is it easier for me to just
Nope, because
email?
I have Lisa's
Okay.
here. I can text her as well.
Great.
So if Beth had the packets for the 10th, that would be okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I know we did this like 20 minutes ago, but are we gonna, we're just gonna let him type up the DPW and then
And then we'll.
argue about the sewer and water, or we wanna do that and see if it's
That's
put in?
Well, I think it's gonna be easier to, once it's all broken up, and we can actually see it as a whole, rather than a bunch of lines and,
Okay.
hieroglyphics, it'd be easier to.
It just would, I mean, it'd be two things we're gonna add or we ain't gonna add. Other
Right.
than that, it wouldn't really,
But I think like, once we get it blocked out, we'll be able to see exactly what the description is, and then we can say yes or no. So, but, because I think, like you said, to add the few bullets that's gonna include,
well,
in
Yeah, I
the
guess so.
responsibilities, it's not a large conversation, is what I'm saying.
okay.
And are we gonna wanna talk about that this Monday?
This coming Monday?
Yep. I'm
I
trying to
think we
make a
just do it,
deadline for myself.
I think we do it next work session.
No, you do, yeah, next
Yeah,
week.
we're not gonna get,
Okay, so I got
So this
we're not
coming
Monday,
Monday's
we're not
regular
gonna get to
meeting.
it Monday.
Yeah, Monday's gonna be
just,
pretty full boat.
just with the DPW timeline, what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
No, it's almost a separate issue, by the way. They're, the current interim director's position, the timeline on that, and what we're currently working on are
Two separate things.
They're really two separate things.
Same,
butt up
same
against
person.
each other.
Same
Well,
person,
they
but yeah.
definitely butt up against each other, but we're not going to be prepared to, we have to come to some sort of an agreement to get him beyond the 15th. That's already an extension.
Right.
So we have to be prepared to bring Jason in here and sit him down and make a
Discuss.
professional explanation on why
Where
we're
we're at.
now at the 15th and we haven't gotten here.
Right.
Just one other quick thing,
Because I'm assuming at this point where the board's direction is to advertise this position, and that could be 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, MRI just did the fire chief and it was 2 months. It's 2 months of,
In this market,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that puts us out into May, June, July.
yeah. Right in the middle of the bridge.
Not, I guess it'll be a discussion after April 15th, but we're gonna, if Jason accepts to extend a little longer till we get our stuff ducks in a row, are we gonna allow him to start sending bids out?
Well, he's gonna have to.
Right,
gonna have
well, I agree, some towns don't, I mean, there's some that not very far from us that used to wait till
No, I think,
July to get their paving bids out, cause they had.
no, and I think he'll do well with that.
I-
I think he'll do.
And
well.
I'm fine with it, I think
Yeah.
he should, that's my reason
Oh,
for
yeah,
questioning.
oh, definitely. I think you should too,
Truck and
absolutely.
everything,
The
yeah.
truck bid,
Yeah, cause you're not gonna get them, so.
no.
and then the last thing I just wanted to ask is, collective bargaining.
Yep,
We got an email back. Their rep went right to Mark Broth. Mark said, what do you want me to do? Now, we agreed Monday night that we would have him work with us. Do you wanna do that on the 10th? So on the 10th, right now, I'm just looking ahead. On the 10th, you've got the park and rec interviews. Then you get the finalization, maybe of draft 2 from the DPW description. Do you wanna do the collective bargaining?
what are we doing this coming Monday? Or we're not meeting?
No, you're meeting, you're
I was gonna say,
meeting.
I thought we were meeting, I'm like.
You're meeting,
like,
I got a
we keep saying-
list.
We keep saying the 10th, and I'm like,
No,
are we
I'm just
meeting on
trying to
the 3rd, or?
schedule
Okay.
work session items, regular
Oh,
session.
okay, so we're talking about the
And
work
while
session.
everybody's here, I just thought we
Yeah.
could,
Okay.
cause I gotta do the agenda in the
Right,
morning, so.
and we spoke to having, there was some homework that the police department was gonna do as well.
Yeah, they were supposed to come back.
Yeah, but
with
see what
something.
happened, what Naomi's saying is they circumvented that.
Oh, I know,
And so now that has been moved, that's now been sent to Mark as for
And-
approval.
but again, I'm not disagreeing. I think we had discussions here, and I believe that the union said, we'll kick those off in 2 days. Remember, we talked about a bunch of different verbiage?
Yeah.
And they were gonna kick it off in a couple days.
Right.
And I think that until we have those, we don't need,
Okay,
I don't feel. The ball
Is in their court. That's
was in their
what
court at the time, cause
Okay,
they were,
well,
they
someone-
Well,
they were
and,
gonna make
and
some
to
documents
come
up.
back to us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
back here.
Right, with the documents to send to us,
Okay.
to then
so-
go to Mark.
So there's obviously bad communication, misinterpretation, because, and probably wasn't the proper word to say circumvent, but what we've done is we moved this up. We missed a step, and the step was that we said, okay, clean these up, bring us back,
Yeah.
and we'll then discuss them as written.
Well, I think that they said they were gonna have them 2 days.
Okay, that's
That-
fine.
That was, that was stated.
That's
stated
fine.
2 days, yeah.
But that's all well and good, but we need to either notify them that,
We can do
what,
it.
because they believe that they're now moving on because they have got their counsel negotiating the final deal.
Well, I
Yeah, I
think.
think it was ready within 2 days, but sent to the wrong group.
It may have been sent to the
Yeah.
wrong group, yeah. But, and that's fine, but it needs to be sent, I think, we said send it to us, and then we would get it through town council.
right.
Maybe, maybe we need to send them a reminder email.
Yeah.
Just so that we keep the ball rolling forward.
Just, again, because it was my freshman and first time
In negotiations.
in a negotiation, and Sherry, fell ill and did not attend them, this whole process has, there's consistency in what just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, no, we didn't have that, we've never had
Okay, hang
that
on one
like
second, let me
that.
finish. So, this is exactly what happened from the very get-go. This is the type of misdirection or redirection or breakdown in communication.
That
So-
was being talked about.
So we really, I mean, there's a real reason for town council's involvement in this negotiation, and I don't want us to overlook that. His opinion is extremely valuable to us. So, you know, let's not, in some aspects, we are renegotiating what was negotiated and agreed upon back in January.
All right, but I guess.
I went back and watched the video. I was surprised to have gotten an email from council. We did discuss bringing it to us. I don't know that misdirection is the right word for that.
Right, so I think we're rolling down that path right now as far as discussion about it. I think what we need to do is email the union and say, you said that we were gonna have cleaned up documents in, within a couple, 2-3 days. Send them to us, and then we'll forward them off to our, because that was what was said at the podium. So I think we just need to follow along with that.
And what was agreed upon and voted on and
Yep.
da-da-da-da-da is we are in there's a bit of a fine line on what we're doing, I think. I think Mark would, I haven't spoken to him, but I would
So when you say
agree.
to send them to us, just send them, or send them and discuss them as a group, and then send them to town council?
Send them
So-
and send them. That's what we agreed to. I thought
Send them to
That's
us,
my
and
understanding.
then I think
Yeah.
Naomi was gonna send them to the attorney,
yeah, without the second
My
review from
understanding.
us first, it was gonna go to town council.
right?
Okay,
That's the way I understood the conversation.
Right, so I just wanna be clear, so you guys are gonna get them, and
Yep.
now are we gonna look at them before I push the button to Mark?
No,
Okay,
I don't believe that was the intention
okay,
okay.
of the conversation.
okay. No, I just wanna make sure that I'm not doing it wrong.
No, I think that was the intent was them to us, us to Mark.
Okay,
It wasn't exactly, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess, I thought we would get one final, just like we did with the job descriptions, one final, yep, this is,
This is what we
Okay.
discussed.
yeah.
and so-
Yeah,
If that's
Otherwise-
what we
that
wanna
was-
do, then that's what we do.
Well, that was- that
I don't have
was-
a problem with it, either way.
And then they're now back on our docket for the 3rd,
well, they asked to be on the docket for next week, and we said yes.
and that's the union.
The
So
union
the
asked to get
union's
on next
coming
week.
back. Do we know what the union's coming back for?
There was a question. There was a question pertaining to a statement.
Okay.
And that was the topic. There was nothing about negotiations.
Yeah.
Okay,
Asked
so
for the
we're
3rd.
not going back into another round of,
Or, I say negotiations, MOU discussion.
right,
That's the better term. There was no topic about that.
Okay.
It was just they wanted a statement clarified.
okay,
And that was why they wanted to be on the docket,
okay.
that I remember.
So in that same, if there's anything else that the PD is gonna bring, it would just be good that we got,
Well, the chief has emailed us about a couple things.
yeah, I know that, I know
But not
those,
the-
I
not
know.
the union.
Yeah, I know those are coming, but if there's anything else, just specifically what they are.
Yeah, please
That
send it,
would-
please send it.
So you know, what we just talked about was, are they gonna send it to us for us to send? Are we gonna stop and think about it and look at it? If we are,
Sounds like the consensus is the board wants to stop it and review it.
well, then I think to avoid looking like we are kicking the can again, we've gotta at least
Can Naomi?
can we look at it
Yeah,
ahead of Monday and just talk about it and say, yes, this is good, and just say that and then move it on?
Sure,
We-
yeah,
we
yeah,
can do
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
this isn't to slow
I'm
it-
just trying to avoid,
Yeah,
you
this isn't
know.
to slow it down as much as it is to maintain the right protocol.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's all it is,
yeah,
it's just
I mean, if
keep,
we get ahead of time, we can read over the weekend or whatever and
Yep.
discuss it, absolutely,
Yep.
I'm a proponent of that.
yeah, I think it's a nod, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, so
I just
then
I just
I-
wanna do it out loud.
And then and then we send it off to town council.
Yep.
Right, yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm good with that.
all right, hold. So basically what I have is, DPW, the driver is not full-time, he's looking for part-time,
Oh,
so,
interesting.
and then we have 2 reappointments for planning board.
That was real quick.
Then there was a discussion from the gentleman at the transfer station.
Yep.
Then I
Employee
have-
or citizen?
Employee.
Then I have, the union, and then I also have Chief Moore with his drone proposal
Yep.
presentation.
Yep.
and then our traditional other stuff.
I think that's gonna be a pretty full night, by the sounds of it.
I don't know that we're gonna get through it all.
Oh, we'll
Unless
get
they
through
go
it all.
quick.
We'll just be here until Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, it's just, if we
No.
can lay things out, it's just easier.
Yeah, I
so.
think that's pretty good start.
Okay.
And then, maybe we put what we, if we find anything with the documents sent, then we can review, we talk
Right,
about
but
it in
if you get
correspondence.
them, we can quickly put it on the agenda, and then we can
Absolutely.
look at it and
Yeah.
move it on.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I feel that there's consensus, tell me if I'm wrong, that there's writing on the wall with April 15th, that we should probably talk to the interim director ahead of that.
Oh, yes.
Can we go ahead and get that ball rolling?
Maybe I guess I ask, obviously, I know this was a little bit hard to pull together, but the clock is ticking. Should we think about a Thursday meet next week
With just that,
with just that on the topic, on the
and then
docket?
go home.
Yeah, I'm thinking just because of the timeline.
Yeah.
I can see, your hair's kind of starting to stand out more and more. So
feel it.
I think the timeline's
Hasn't fallen
starting.
out yet.
So,
Salem, believe it or not, it's been like this since November.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, I've been watching.
It has been like this since
So I think-
So
November.
there is no, yeah, there's,
Nobody in
the
here
only
next
meeting you
Thursday?
have is, there's a Monday night meeting, a Tuesday night meeting, and there's nothing else for the rest of the week.
So maybe we should do Thursday night if anybody is possible
The 6th?
to discuss that. Is that something that we,
I won't be here, but you're more than welcome.
okay, all right.
I don't know. I'll double check.
I mean, what's it discuss, just see if he still wants to, what do you?
I think it's,
Well,
nothing to do with what we
we're
talked about
working
here.
on it, we're working on an agreement
Yeah.
that is,
Expired.
is really expired and is outdated. I mean, we worked on an agreement that we had compensation plus a stipend for the tools. Now we've replaced the tools, invested in the tools. There's just, the agreement is just terribly outdated. So we need to,
It's
we
only
need,
6 months or 8 months old.
Have the tools come in now?
Uh,
Do we have the new
Yeah.
tools?
Well, we got the first, we appropriate, 17, 15 the first time?
Yeah.
And then town meeting just approved the one-time
second-
purchase. So
second-
I'm sure that the second batch has been ordered and,
It's
or.
on its way.
It's going to be ordered relatively
We'd have it in
soon,
a couple of weeks.
but,
or a month.
Yeah.
We'll say a month,
I mean,
right?
we're going to have to, we're going to have to agree to a certain period of time, right? We can't just take this employee and string him along. So we're going to have to say, this is a 3-month agreement. And
whatever, yeah.
something for him to say
Right.
yes or no to.
Right, because we have, right now, we have a verbal agreement to the 15th.
Yep.
Just because of, that's when
Right.
call ends.
So
them, so.
that's what we need to be prepared to do. And what is that compensation package going to be?
For that,
Left
Ten-
for
for that
tools,
tenure.
if we've got
Well,
15,000 or 17,000, whatever. it
for
is.
that tenure, right.
Yeah.
So, again, that's gonna have to be a discussion that we have here. And I think, like you said, I think if we whale that out on an off night, I think we can be focused on it, similar to these work sessions, which have obviously proven to be
Yeah.
invaluable.
Yeah.
I think it would just,
Yeah.
it would
No,
just
we'll
clean
ask,
that up.
we'll ask finance to
Yep.
give us the numbers so that we can say, yeah, this is something we can work with. And
So is that something that we think we can put on the docket? That's all we were gonna do, Benji, it's just.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know,
Give me
that's-
an email what you guys are thinking, I guess.
I mean, I hate the term, but a stopgap,
It is, I mean,
we want, I
being
think,
compensated for doing the job, so I don't know.
right,
We're trying to put something together so it can be put out
Mm-hmm.
and he has opportunity to put in for it. It's not
Absolutely, yeah.
Like he's doing the job with no compensation, we're being unfair to him.
no,
And I
he's doing
worry,
a fine
I
job.
worry, yeah, I agree, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like we're making someone do something and not compensating them, so I don't know if there's, I don't know what the fire is really. And if we make an agreement, we're gonna be out there 3 months, and where does that hold us if we actually get our stuff together and get an ad out in the paper?
I think it just has to account for that.
We could just say an up to,
Yeah,
an up to.
Up to.
That's what I'm asking. I
yeah,
mean,
up
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
yeah.
And like Kevin
We
said, I mean,
promise somebody a certain amount of salary, and then,
well, like,
it'll have to be subject to something, but so we've asked the person to step to the plate and assume responsibilities initially. To be perfectly honest with you, was we were hoping he would handle the plowing. okay? And that's been elevated into a whole number of things.
It's different, yeah.
You know, we've had to address, you know, he's had to make numerous proposals because things have happened, right? So he's, you know, he's gone beyond what we originally hired him to do.
Right.
He's now acting really as a DPW director.
Yeah.
We're not compensating him as a DPW director.
Okay.
But we're asking him to do that job.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what salary is, so.
But we also changed the, like Kevin said though, now with the tools kind of falling off, I think we just need to come back to the table and just, you know, put it all back in the mixing pot and see what comes
You know,
out.
speaking of tools, when, I think Ben will maybe remember this, they did something down there. I remember all his tools were pulled out for at least a month.
I don't think it was a month, I think it was for.
I think it was
a couple
because somebody
weeks.
else brought their tools in down there, and I heard mention of it.
Well, the tools were removed because
He was upset
hey, wait,
because-
hang on a second, let me finish. There was an agreement made that he would be able, that they would be able to do weekend work within the facility. Insurance basically said, no, that's not gonna work, there's a liability issue, the taxpayers are at risk. So no more, basically, personal use of the town facilities to do the work. The agreement, so he said, well, the agreement was I could keep, and that's why my tools are here, because you guys don't have any tools. And that's when we said, what are you talking about? And we basically appropriated money to replace the tools that are now gone.
Right.
So it was more or less in that point of crises, he said, hey, if I'm not gonna
Be able to access them or use them,
use them over the weekend, I gotta take them home.
my tools.
So he took them home.
Right.
So,
And then that was quickly resolved because.
right,
and
we knew we were
came-
up against the wall.
So we came to an agreement, and we're paying him, I think it's $250 a month to run his tools.
Yeah.
So,
But I
so it
think
was only a
initially-
couple weeks, it wasn't a month.
I was told a month. I'm only
know.
telling you what I was told
By who?
by another employee, and that employee's tools are still down there, and he's still using them.
We never gave out names before, but
Yeah, we're not gonna give names.
No, I'm not
but-
giving names out.
No, that's fine.
there wasn't a deal made for weekend use. It
Well, it
wasn't.
wasn't a deal, but an agreement, let's just say that.
Yeah.
No,
Right,
no,
a
not really.
an unwritten verbal, whatever, but,
Well, I just don't know that.
but again,
but-
it was rectified, right?
No, I don't think the other person didn't get any rectification.
This is the first I've heard of
This
this.
is the first I've heard that somebody else brought their tools in.
Well, system mechanic has his own box, much smaller. However, he does have his own tools, has used them. He did use them when the other tools were not there.
Okay.
Um,
But, again, I think that's water under the bridge at this point.
Well,
well,
Personally.
what are we still doing renting tools?
Well, that's why we have to come back in and talk about it.
It was, because what happened was, it was supposed to be a short-term thing, and it basically made his compensation fair enough
Right.
and it resolved the problem of the fact that our shop was toolless. At least that's what we were told. We told we didn't have a
Specialty
pneumatic.
toolish,
We didn't
yeah.
have a half-inch pneumatic gun.
So, well, regardless, again, here we
And
are.
that's what we were told at the
Right,
time.
at
So
the
that
time.
was, it was crisis management, Ben. It was absolutely crisis.
I'm not
management.
arguing with
Is
your
it-
compensation of the person you have compensation to. I think what Sherry's alluding to is maybe lack of compensation of the other person. Not being equal, because it's not the equal kind of tools.
right.
I don't think there's any argument, or
Right.
not with myself anyway,
Well, this is-
about, and this person didn't come talk to me anyway, I just know who it is because I work there. But,
So,
it wasn't, there's no argument about Jason getting compensated for his
No.
tools.
but I'll say this, and I'll be blunt, it's hard to do something you don't know about until 8 months later.
Well, I just heard about it, okay?
Well, no, what I'm saying is here we are 8 months down the road, and we're just finding out about this.
Well,
As a board,
Yeah.
not as an individual, as a board.
Well, like I said, I didn't know anything
So,
about it.
so, it's hard to be proactive when we don't know about it, right?
Yeah, well, the other thing that we do know, or we should know, is that he's doing 80% probably of the mechanics work down there now, and has been.
Well, I would
And
think,
we didn't give him any, we haven't given him any compensation for that either, just telling you.
well, I think that's, again, this is a topic for another discussion. Is, we also asked the head mechanic, that was his point, that was his job description, to slide into a different job. So I, as being in that chair right now, not in the public sector, but in the private sector, you can't expect them to do everything.
I'm not saying that, but you're not compensating the other person, is what I'm saying.
I understood.
You've
Well,
compensated
you're-
other people up there.
let's correct it as we are not compensating, not that we are not, okay? So.
I'm just saying,
So
we
as
aren't
you're, well,
compensating
you
them.
say, you're using the term you aren't. So let's just
Did I say
say,
you?
yeah. So if the
Well,
board if the board is missed, if there's an oversight, it never came to the board. You were gone for 2 months. It has never
I
been
didn't
presented
know
to
about
the
it 2
board.
months ago.
Right,
Well, it's
and
never been
we didn't know
presented
about
to
it
the
either.
board.
So, again, it's hard to be proactive when we don't know about these things. So,
I think maybe it's worth asking,
and that's fine.
asking when we bring him back in.
And we
if there's
can
anybody down.
absolutely do that. So,
I guess my retention of the couple people that are left would be a big deal.
oh, absolutely, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But I think that's a conversation we need to have with the interim
Oh,
director
I
here.
agree, yeah.
Should we wait until you're back to have that
Yeah,
special short meeting?
Oh, it's
yeah,
up to you
I think
guys.
we
I
should
mean, I
wait.
don't-
And
Because I don't know what your
these guys-
compensation was, what you plan on paying him, and I don't have a care one way or the other.
Well, if so, that's fine. If we wanna wait, that's fine. I just wanna do it as soon as reasonably possible.
Yep.
And,
Are we-
before it's the 10th and we're in the hot seat. Then we have to knee-jerk react. And I don't wanna do that.
Let's have a
That's where I don't wanna be.
preliminary, let's do preliminary and we'll revisit on the 10th.
So you wanna
So we
have the
do
Thursday
we do
meet?
preliminary on the 6th, so that we kind of get our ducks in order, and then we'll have to somehow get
revisit.
you up to speed, and
Yeah,
let's come up with a strategy on the 6th, because we're all too tired right now, and we're
I can
taking
give-
this,
I can give you a call.
we're definitely off topic.
Oh, yeah. No, I
Way
know.
off.
Yeah, I can give you a call on, when do you come back?
I don't know the date, be Saturday.
Saturday? I'll give you a call Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. And
If I get a chance.
Monday's
bring
I'll
up,
watch
bring up
that.
speed, huh?
Sunday's Easter.
Happy Easter, let's talk about the town.
That's fine.
So, all right, so anyways, all right, very good. So I think we're gonna meet, obviously, we have a full
You got a
agenda
meeting on the
3rd.
3rd, you
We'll
got a
meet
meeting on the
6th.
6th, you got a meeting on the 10th.
There we go.
The 3rd, the 6th, and the
See you guys more, I see my family.
Yeah, really.
So, all right, any other business to be brought forth for the board in the work session tonight? I'm gonna move to adjourn.
Second.
Move second, all in favor? Yes.
All right.
Hold on one
Thank you.
second.
Hold on, stand by.